This is the One Piece Podcast, episode 797 for the week of Monday, November 27th, 2023. My name is Zach.
My name is Ed.
My name is Steve.
And my name is Alex.
And on today's show, we have very special guest translator for One Piece and Weekly Shonen Jump, Stephen Paul, is with us. How's it going, Stephen?
Hey, what's up? I'm going to be the good one here. I'm not the troublemaker this episode. I'm just getting that out of the way before we start.
Okay, now I'm worried. No troublemakers to follow here. From the Vintage Anime Podcast and many others, returning for the first time in a little while, I feel like. Dennis is joining us. How's it going, Dennis?
It's going good. Thanks for having me back on. I am also grateful that I got to take a break from just sitting on my ass all day watching Turn A Gundam. So thanks for giving me a break.
That's one I have not seen, except that they all have white beard mustaches, I know. And I think we have a lot of people here. Last but certainly not least, he's producer, writer, been a contributor, an editorial writer at Crunchyroll, Kotaku, Anime News Network, and more. Sean Aitchison is joining us. How's it going, Sean?
Good. I would also like to thank you for stopping me from sitting on my ass and playing Spider-Man 2 all day. A game I don't enjoy, but I won't talk about that.
First I think we should really figure out why you're all doing things that you hate all day.
Well, it's not that I hate it. It's more of it is very unproductive for me.
Oh, okay. Well, that's fine. As a procrastinator, I could endorse that. And also, I assume most of the people listening are either procrastinating or not listening and focusing on something else. We have a bunch of stuff to talk about today, including the One Piece chapter 1099 manga recap entitled Pacifist, all about Relina Peacecraft. We also have a triple... I did that just for Steve's reaction. We also have a triple anime recap. Ed, do you happen to have the numbers or names of any of those on hand?
I think it's actually a double anime recap, and we'll also have a double anime recap next week. I don't
okay.
have the numbers.
Hi, everyone. Delaney editing for the One Piece Podcast. I just want to let everybody know that, contrary to what past Zach has just stated, there will not be a double anime recap nor triple anime recap this week. I don't want to say it's because someone fell asleep, but I don't not want to say that. So please keep an eye on our socials, and we will let you know when to anticipate the next anime recap. Let's see if we can get it up to 5, fellas.
So to transition, there's actually a bunch of news I would be remiss if we did not talk about. First, we have the Egghead arc coming to the anime on January 7th, 2024, which is only a little over a month away, a month and a week or two. Did anyone have... There was a visual and like a teaser showing the character designs and stuff. Did anyone have any super strong opinions that they wanted to share about that? Steve?
Yeah, they're definitely going for a different approach with the character designs. I believe it's still Midori Matsuda.
Yeah, I believe so.
But they're a lot... It's almost like pre-Timeskip One Piece, where everyone's just leaner and sleeker and not as beefy. As they were, like, no one has like those crocodile necks. But it was nice. It was cool looking. Kind of seeing everyone in color, more like seeing the backgrounds in color. It's sure going to be interesting when we enter that arc. I can't believe we're finally, like, we're going to be done with Wano. It's just no more Wano branding.
Yeah,
I know. It's
yes,
so weird.
Steven, sorry.
It's interesting that, like, I mean, I know we haven't had a new arc in 4 or 5 years at this point, but it is interesting that they are so kind of, I guess, branding forward as far as like, hey, the Egghead and the arc is starting in the anime on this date, where I feel like that was never really like a thing that they celebrated or marked before this point. So it's kind of interesting.
Before Wano, I'd say. Yeah. They did that for Wano in 2019 in the anime.
Just to say, it's 1083 and 1084. Those are the episodes that I watched for the anime recap today. There you go.
And it's the end, and the next two, I think, will conclude the Wano arc that you guys do. I think it just aired this week. 1086, I guess?
No, 1085. 1086 is
You're right.
This week.
Yeah. Yeah, that's why you'll be doing a double. Now I get it. We have other news. I'm going to go from least funny to most funny. This one is the Los Angeles Rams on December 3rd at 1:25 p.m. Pacific, will be hosting their One Piece Day. You heard that right. And if you don't know who the Los Angeles Rams are, they are a football team.
Oh, come on. They
an
won.
American football team.
Right. I thought Zach was going to run down the starting lineup of the
and
Rams.
For the Los Angeles
line,
Rams.
Yeah. They come out of the tunnel with the dry ice. And Zach's
and it's me.
And then all of them just happen to be Japanese, so Zach's like sweating in the box trying to figure out how to pronounce all of them.
I know One Piece is very big in the athlete community, but not in the athlete spectator community. Well, yeah, like the Olympic athletes. There were definitely a bunch of football players, basketball players.
There was Steven Adams, the basketball player.
But it is certainly that like hype anime crowd. Not to sound negative about it, but just like there's certainly like a big like popular, like 3 big popular shonens are popular amongst sports fans, kind of, and also the athletes, like you said.
Not the fans, the athletes.
No, what I was going to say is there's definitely more athletes who are fans of One Piece than there will be in the stands, ordinarily fans of One Piece. I mean, maybe...
When did that USC halftime show thing happen? Was that last year?
That was last year, I think.
That was last
what
year.
An escalation.
It was completely unpromoted.
College football
reacted.
to professional football. I
also
think...
I don't know. Japanese companies can't really see past California, so...
Dennis, that's true.
Yeah, I think that's why they chose the Rams.
I also want to say it is the Rams trying to clap back at the Chargers for their anime recap. What is that?
Oh, the schedule
announcement. Yeah, they dropped those, and they have a lot of
Wasn't that years ago?
No, they've been doing it. They've been doing it like 2 to 3 years in a row now.
Oh,
so
okay.
they've kept going.
I forgot I got a press email about this.
I feel like that's the maximum amount of football discussion I personally want to have.
Wait, one thing.
Sorry, go ahead. That's a personal thing. Yeah.
If they add the "Going Merry" to the Rams logo merchandise, I will buy what I can.
Dennis,
that's what I want to know. I'm like,
the Rams logo already looks like Super Saiyan 3.
I mean, what is the promotion? Are we getting cool merch or?
Yeah,
they haven't said.
I don't want to go to that part of LA.
But Dennis, I'll
get merch.
You don't? Dennis, they did have like the logo that it came out with the One Piece did have like a special Jolly Roger, which I agree does feel like a missed opportunity if they don't do anything with the Going Merry. Or maybe the actor who played Merry on the live action series who's dead. I'm sorry, that's a spoiler. Not the actor, but
the actor is alive, Zach.
The actor is very much alive, and it's Greg, I believe. The last piece of news I want to mention, anyone here?
Tragedy struck on the streets of New York.
Captain Tragedy,
So people may remember I was lucky enough to go to Macy's Balloon Fest a few weeks ago, and I did not realize I had the rarefied experience of seeing an inflated Luffy to steal Steve's joke. Well, actually, Steve, you do the joke because it's your joke. What happened to the balloon? No,
pop. I was saying, I don't know. We're already late. You've seen all the jokes online already.
That's true.
Ryokugu got his revenge, or that tree packed some mean armament hockey. It ran into a branch and it popped the brim part of Luffy's hat. Thankfully, the rest of it was still intact, so it looked, he became Bucket Hat Luffy for the remainder of the parade.
Ed gets full credit for that.
Picked it up all the way to Macy's.
Yeah, Steve Shanks was furious.
Steve, her name is Brûlée.
Thank you.
Not
that
Branch.
was another one. Don't worry, I've seen them all online. Trust me. That's the thing these days now. I come from the era of Vitamin D when you had like a fad for you got months out of it. Now it's like day 2, you're sick of it already.
I wish that the news cycle just basically focused on it saying area hat deflated.
It was both tragic and immensely hilarious simultaneously, and seeing the fan art of all the Bucket Hat Luffys were great. It was.
Oda thinks it's funny.
I think you should leave Sketch Lady, who won a bunch of money in the lawsuit, but it's because of the Luffy balloon.
I have to. I really
sense of humor.
I hope he does.
If there was any disaster that was going to strike, this is the best possible case because it's really funny and it wasn't really that bad.
No one got hurt.
Yeah, exactly.
It wasn't the Sonic tragedy.
And it wasn't the only balloon that got hit by that tree, too.
It's true. Yeah.
Wasn't Barney
I
also?
think a bunch like in front of Luffy and maybe after. I saw a lot of them had parts of it deflated. So
were they holding it too low?
That must have been one hell of a turn there.
No, they steered it right into the tree. I mean, I saw the video.
Just too close to the side.
I love the idea of the tree getting like 3 balloons before Luffy, and then Luffy's like, "I'm gonna punch that tree," and then he also gets deflated.
Oh shit! I'm made
and
of
then has to
air.
come back after a meal.
Yeah.
I'm surprised no one's made the joke of when Crocodile stabs Luffy outside a rain base.
In the hat.
That one. Yeah.
I think there was also just the Gear 3 and the air blowing out thing. I saw that one.
Yeah, I thought of that too.
Yeah. God, we'll focus group, another joke. Come back to you in a few weeks when
it's
you
very
really
convenient
don't care.
that we have a character that kind of acts like a balloon through half of the series.
I know. Yeah. It was genuinely very funny. I feel very bad for the folks at Toei. I'm sure, and the people worked like hard on the balloon. I hope it comes back next year.
I think it got more PR for getting popped than it would have otherwise.
I think so as well. The fact that A&N caught that video of it is superb. Of it actually getting popped. I am so glad that footage exists.
I was just surprised. I was surprised Goku was in the parade again. Like Toei is like shilling out the money.
I think he's been in the parade
once
for
you've
years.
once you've made the balloon, you know they can keep the balloon can be reused. I think.
Mm-hmm.
No, but I mean, like
when
you have to pay for a spot.
Yeah, you do.
know?
Yeah. But to be fair,
it's not like the balloon gets used till it dies.
Yeah,
that's what happened to the Kraft macaroni and cheese dinosaur.
unlike the LA Rams thing, which I have opinions about.
Cheezosaurus Rex. He's got a name.
Thank you, Alex. I forgot it.
Unlike the LA Rams, this does the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade in the United States does get into the zeitgeist a lot more, and I think the fact that it did pop probably got it even more into the zeitgeist. But the big news is they pronounced everything correctly for Luffy's balloon. So that's
what might be the 5th year in a row. They still pronounce saying the wrong correct way. So
Al Roker's just trolling people at this point.
The Saiyajin, like actually saying
they're gonna say like Saiyajin next year.
Nice.
Wow, Al Roker's in Osaka.
You know, this year actually it made me think about that because of the Luffy stuff. Maybe Toei gave them pronunciation notes, and that's what I thought.
Too.
I'm
sure.
The Dragon Ball side, so you know.
Yeah.
Maybe it's the Japanese side of Toei doing it that's giving that pronunciation. Interesting. The piece of news I want to say for the podcast is because of the holidays, we are giving away 7-day free trials for Patreon. You could join us for 7 days and continue if you enjoy it until the end of the holidays. I'm going to give a shout out to Tara Sands for alerting me that that's even a thing. And to segue, Steve, you're doing a podcast with Tara Sands. You want to talk about it?
Yeah, I guess I got to promote it again.
Yeah, you do. Every week.
Yeah, we started a new podcast months back. If you didn't know about it already, 4Kids Flashback. It is a retrospective podcast where myself and voice actor Tara Sands are interviewing like anybody that worked at 4Kids Entertainment. Of course, actors, but also we've been talking with producers, writers, directors, and just getting a more authentic firsthand experience and look back on that era, that's kind of, it's gone, and it's, I think of it also like the sister podcast to Forced to Watch 4Kids, because if you listen to that show, half of it was Alex and I just asking the question, why? And I could at least, happily say that some of those questions get answered on this show. So please check it out. It is free to listen to. I feel like some people are getting it twisted. We put out episodes a week early, ad free on Patreon, but the show is free to listen to. So
please do.
Go listen to it.
Yeah. It's a really fascinating show, and Steve and Tara are both great podcast hosts, so please listen in. I think that's going to do it. I want to get into the manga chapter personally, so we'll get into it right after this. This is the manga recap for chapter 1099, Pacifist. This chapter and all chapters come out at shonenjump.viz.com or mangaplus.shueisha.co.jp. They're available for free legally worldwide at the same time it comes out in Japan. Stephen, I have to ask a question before we get anywhere, and I hope I'm not the only one who noticed. Is the font different on the title?
Oh, I think, it might be. I'm not sure why.
I bet you like they couldn't find the font or something like that, so replaced it with the
who knows?
Arial.
I thought
or whatever.
Ed had some author comments or something.
No, that was the most important question though.
Right.
Ed, you have some author comments for us.
Sure. The author comments this week from Oda says, I like putting a little water on the 0-second chicken ramen, and it's no longer 0 seconds though. So I have to read this article about what exactly he's talking about here. So this is an article from JapanToday.com. It says, compared to the amount of time it would take to make ramen from scratch, you could argue that the 3 minutes of cooking time required for instant ramen is a mercifully short time to have to wait. But if you're a true ramen fan, you know that every moment not spent eating ramen is a moment wasted. And so even that 3-minute wait can be excruciating. So thankfully, instant ramen maker Nissin is here with a way to turn those 180 seconds of agony into 0 with its new 0-second chicken ramen. As those without the willpower to wait 3 minutes already know, you can actually eat instant ramen noodles without cooking them. Chowing down on them is a crunchy snack. There's a problem, though, that in the seasoning in the pack of a normal instant ramen is supposed to be for both the noodles and the broth, so if you're not adding water, the level of seasoning can be unpleasantly overpowering. But Nissin's new 0-second chicken ramen, though, is a disc of uncooked noodles, flavored to be eaten uncooked, and as is, providing a more balanced flavor than of a bowl of noodles and broth, just without liquid. And Oda, I need you to eat better. I mean, what are you doing?
We need you to make it across the finish line.
You're taking the worst convenience store like packaged food and spraying a little hot water on it to be fancy, and just come on, man.
They make ramen snacks. You can just eat the ramen snacks.
I thought it was going to be that thing from Cowboy Bebop.
Me too.
Just, like,
That's what I thought.
Yeah.
Me too.
That needs to exist. I agree.
I wish.
So
Rocket noodles.
What are we on, like week 3 now? Peepaw watch, where it's like, no, Peepaw, you got to eat better.
I mean, I guess it's like 50% lower in sodium, it says here. So, I mean, that's still not good for the amount of sodium in instant ramen. Oda, what are you doing?
So how much did they pay you to read this?
I couldn't wrap my head around, when I read this, I couldn't wrap my head around 0-second chicken ramen, so I had to learn.
It sounded like you were reading ad copy from a 1930s radio play.
That's just the way this article is written. It's
and now a word from Nissin Ramen.
I used to do podcast
and you're
ads.
feeling extra fancy, put a little water on it.
That's how I used to read podcast ads for that, in that voice, like 10 years ago.
Oh, yeah.
Good.
Well, yeah. You should read all our ads
again.
Yeah.
Should do that again.
Oda's a step away from like doing that dad thing of going into the fridge at like 12 p.m. with a bologna and a slice of cheese and just eating that.
Bologna on hand? Bologna on hand
37
sandwich?
slices of American cheese or whatever, however many.
Yeah.
I think I'm blind.
I know
that's
Oda
why
just
he
got
needed the
corrective
LASIK.
laser eye surgery, but he's going to go blind again.
Yeah. Let's talk about the chapter.
Let's talk about the
Ed,
chapter.
what's going on the first page here?
Sure. This is a reader request for Raccoon Dogs Fixing Up Odin's Hair by Match and Takeshi. So, I mean, yeah, it's exactly what it describes, and they're making his hair look like Odin.
Steven, do you know if these are the YouTube guys? Takeshi sounds very familiar.
It's a very common name in Japan.
I don't know.
There is a duo on the official One Piece YouTube, I know.
I can't tell you that this is a pen name that does write in a lot. I've either for reader requests or for SBS or something like that. I've definitely seen it before multiple times. So
okay. Any other comments on this?
It's exactly what it says it is.
The little pagoda that they put on top for the hairstyle. I don't know if anyone watches Laid Back Camp, but I got a lot of vibes from that.
Pagoda?
Well,
Isn't that just Odin? It's
Yeah, they're
Odin
making
shape.
the Odin skewer. with
Pagoda.
the different
Pagoda.
Pagoda, the character from the Royal Tenenbaums. I had to get that in there. Next.
Ed, you want to start out the chapter? I think we talked enough about soup and that.
Okay, so yes, we open on a scene of a tremendous fire in Kuma in great distress here. He's huffing and puffing, and people are saying, "You've done enough, Kuma. There's no saving the rest. Come back. You're only going to lose your own life, Kumachi." And we get the evil, dark-shadowed king's face, King Bakori. He says, "Far to the east, another kingdom used this strategy successfully. The celestial dragons praised their beautiful city for being cleansed of all filth. In order to bring about great bliss and prosperity, a wise king must sometimes steel his heart and enact cruel reforms."
So is this referring to Goa?
Yes,
I think so.
The Great Terminal.
That's what I
I don't
thought.
remember. Yeah, I was.
He's also making a very trolly face.
Well-
maybe his face is always like that.
Yeah.
It's like, ooh, hoo, hoo, hoo.
I'm the bad little boy.
Oh, you got to make a sacrifice.
Yeah.
And he's such an asshole.
Yeah. But people are yelling at him. "King Bakori! The people are mounting a furious resistance!" And they're yelling, "Murderer! Step down at once! Put out the fires in the south! Kill a handful of them and be rewarded." Oh. so people are going out with guns and shooting people down in the streets, and they're saying, "Who dares defy the king's edict? Step forward!" As this woman is, kneeling over her dead husband, presumably. And through the mist, we see it. The gunmen are like, "Who's that?" And they say, "Stop now or be executed!" Roar! It's Kuma. He's very angry.
Frank
Come
Miller's
on,
cool.
mad!
Yeah.
I know this is a really, this is a very serious scene, obviously, but it's great too. But I kind of almost just now imagine it comically, like this, like chicken shit royal guard here shoots one person's like, "Hey, who else wants to step up, huh?" And then like Kuma just like rises from the crowd and just gets
Oh,
bigger
jeez,
and
oh,
bigger
fuck,
as he
oh,
walks up.
Yeah.
I got Princess Bride vibe, just like, "I am the dread pirate Kuma," just like coming through the smoke while he's on fire.
That's me. And then at Kuma's church, "Hurry, treat the wounded. Stay inside, Bonnie. You don't want to be in the moonlight." And she says, "Okay." And then Bonnie says, "I hope he's safe. Dad's always such a chicken." "Stop right there. You know what'll happen if you strike the king. You'll pay dearly for this, you country bumpkin preacher." That is a tongue twister. And then the narration is, the incident would be known as the solar evolution of Sorbet Kingdom. And in sacred, I always forget.
Wait, so before there, just to describe what's going on, I do like the juxtaposition of Bonnie calling him a chicken and then Kuma punching the king or pawing the king.
Yes, he's made it from the guards to the king in one page.
Yeah,
Single-handedly overthrowing the nation.
Yeah, I mean, I do like to. She's only seen like his kind,
right?
Like
Yes.
weaker
Yes.
side, and then oh my god, I always forget. Is it Marijoa?
Sure.
Yeah, that's fine.
I hear there's a new king in Sorbet. Strange. Who is it? Unable to resist the pleas of the people, Kuma became, and everyone's cheering, "Kuma, Kuma, King Kuma, the king of the realm, living out of his old church. King Kumachi, my back hurts. I think you can stop teasing me now. The one actually in control of, at the palace is old Bulldog. I'm just a figurehead to make the people feel better. Back in King Bulldog's day, 2 generations ago, there were times were poor, but we were rich in spirit. Sure was hard not having money to go around, though."
So Saturn, I just want to remark on 2 things on this page. I really like the bottom right panel. And I really
Why has this guy got a foxy split head?
Damn it, Ed.
I was thinking that.
Sorry.
Foxy was once a
It's
very
Wolverine.
prominent aide to Saturn.
Captain
like
Vice Admiral Logan.
Anyway, the art on this page in particular, I think, is very well done.
Yeah.
Dennis.
And next page, we have someone huffing and huffing, talking about doing some cardio, and everyone is, the old people who were killed by Kuma are like, who's the girl running around the church? Oh, she looks just as pretty as Ginny. And then Kuma, I guess, what? Ginny? Huh? And she says, why are you all so shocked? I have to be ready and go and see the horizon at the sea with Daddy when I turn 10. Huh? Daddy? Everyone's kind of confused there. And she looks in the mirror, so I have to build up strength for... Huh? And everyone screams, ah! Turns out that person, who all could guess, is Bonnie. What was that transformation? Did you eat a devil fruit? When? Kuma just faints, like, oh, wake up, Kumachi.
He's speaking for the reader there. You ate a devil fruit? When?
And then on...
this was like a point of criticism I was almost going to make with, like, it would have been interesting to see Bonnie actually eat the devil fruit, but sorry I keep going back to Chopper's flashback comparison, but I realized, like, we didn't see Chopper eat the fruit in his, and we didn't see Robin eat hers either. Right, so I'll let
she got it from, let's say, Mo.
Bonnie eats everything. Bonnie eats everything.
Yes.
I guess the bigger question is, how did it end up in there? Which they don't really explain, but maybe it doesn't need to either. Like,
maybe one of the
might have been stolen from the castle when they overthrew the government.
Yeah, just brought some stuff from the castle here.
We know what eating a fruit looks like, and we know what eating a devil fruit looks like. So I get it on that end.
Just eat the damn fruit.
She's a growing girl. She need to eat, and she always eats everything. She's got the same appetite. All right, top of the next page, we have Mr. Explanatory over here going, is this it? The age fruit? Where did she... Meanwhile, one of the other guys is saying, try doing it with your mind.
Yeah. Future crew member.
Future crew member right there. Seeing little Bonnie going, get older, get older.
She's going to go Super Saiyan.
She's going to bust an O-ring.
I love that little drawing.
It's very cute.
It's
so good.
Like
little,
Charlie Brown.
Little little Peanuts brownie.
Oh, it does look like that.
Yeah. And Kuma goes, stop that, Bonnie. You're going to wear yourself out. I think he faints again, maybe? No, this is just someone calling King Kuma at the door, going, please, your majesty, grant us an audience. And the crewmer then just realizes, looking back, like, oh no! Bonnie turned into a wrinkled old bag! It really worked! She's hideous! Meanwhile, you have Bonnie behind them going, it's not working. It's hard to get older.
The look on that old lady's face is so good. Like,
why are you calling me hideous? And who are you?
This is so funny. So like the expression on her face is perfect. This is me coming into your house, picking up your cat. Like the same energy.
It is.
Her facial expression.
She looks like a little Muppet.
She does. She looks like a Muppet, and she also looks like the grandma in Knives Out. I can see her going, ransom? Just that person right there.
I feel like this is gonna be the next Grogu.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Let's get a
Looks like a
parade
bulldog.
float.
Crank it up.
Let's get a parade float of Dowager
Funko
Connie.
Pops, Funko
Connie
Pops
the
everywhere.
Muppet.
I was
God.
going to say that, Steve, but I held my tongue.
As Steve should have.
Because such a thing should not be unleashed upon.
Connie, by the way.
Yeah.
We'll get to
They'll
this.
make anything a Funko Pop.
Connie, one of 3 girls at Bluffington.
All right. Bonnie answers the door. Who are you, mister? And this older gentleman goes, you must be Princess Bonnie then. My name is Bulldog. I'm something like an aide to your father. I have a weighty matter to discuss. And we have the Oda box of Sorbet Kingdom former king 2 gens ago, Bulldog. Oh, my mother's here, I see. She's Connie, the one-time Queen Dowager.
Just once.
Only once.
Previously.
So it was mentioned that, or it was found that he was potentially at that round table in the Reverie, sitting next to King Taco.
Was he?
Yeah. There were. I know Mr. One Piece, I believe, is the pseudonym. for the fan in Japan who was also a One Piece mania, and at least one other person I saw point that out. I would take that with a gigantic grain of salt, but there are some similarities, I suppose.
Sure.
And it's totally possible that he's there. We'll see what happens next week. But Steven, I'll throw it to you.
This guy has a very generic design.
That's kind of why. Yeah.
Aside from the fact that
he's got bulldog gels.
Kind of, yeah. Aside from like the hat that he wears that is also the same as his mother's hat, there's not a lot that's notable about.
Oh, the hat flops down, a little like bulldog ears.
He is not wearing a hat in the Reverie chapter, I will say. So take that as
bulldog.
I will say this, Ed. Kuma might be the figurehead, but Bulldog is going to be the king, whether he wants to or not.
Yes, he will.
So on the next page, Kuma is saying, King Beckery, or somebody is saying King Beckery's coming back, as they are looking at a news article that says "Wicked Dictator" with a big old picture of Kuma looking menacing. And the guy, I think this is the Bonnie's crewmate, who's saying, "Look at the nonsense in this article. I'm certain Bekori set this up. I mean, really, seized the throne with violence by burning villages?" And we see that he's talking to it. Bulldog is there, Kuma is there, and down in the corner, Bonnie is still working on her aging. With old
Connie.
With old Connie.
I like how Kuma's face here is the exact same as the picture.
Yeah. It's like that's the most
I didn't
menacing
even
photo
notice
we could get. I mean, honestly, they didn't even get my nose right.
Just Kuma reading the news of criminal on the run.
Yeah. Wonder who that
I'm
is.
surprised the article didn't just the title of the article wasn't just Big Meanie.
Yeah,
Kuma's just like, wonder who that's for.
He's not wearing his bucket hat in this case. But the man says he's trying to overthrow us from abroad. And Bulldog is he's literally pointing out, it means he has the world government on his side. Bekori will be back to take control, mark my words. There's intel that he's preparing battleships. And Kuma is absorbing all of this in silence. And some old folks are there too. I like the good designs on these clothes. I like how much detail Oda put into these little mob characters.
Yeah.
And they're saying, we can't have Bekori coming back here. He'll have us killed this time. Of course, remembering all of the events of the past. And Kuma says, don't worry. He won't set a single toe within the country again. Whatever he tries to bring back with him, I'll drive it all away. But once that happens, I'll be seen as a criminal. I won't be able to stay here anymore. And somebody, maybe Bulldog, or maybe that's the folks in the background, are silent. And he says, once that happens, I'll need you to be king, Bulldog. And Bonnie is successful. She's poofed into her adult form that we've seen. And Kuma continues, would you take Bonnie under your wing in that case? Even this church will be in danger. And Bulldog says, all right, I'll find her a place with the same conditions. And meanwhile, we have two little ETs. What a great image.
I was going to call them California raisins, but I like
nice. Yeah. She's like,
Easy,
I did it.
You did it, Bonnie.
It's interesting that this also does confirm that when we saw Bonnie transform into Queen Connie back in the Reverie section, that was not like her grandmother or whatever. It was just, it was just old woman look-alike, I guess.
If all the women look the same in One Piece, they would all look the same when they're old as well. So
I mean, I guess so. Yeah, I think
sensitive property there.
Yeah, Joey had an interesting comment where he was like, maybe Oda was thinking of doing that at the time of Reverie, but then once he got here and he was actually putting together everything, he was like, oh wait, I can't. That's not going to fit in the story that I'm telling.
I think that's probably
that's probable.
Which seems very likely.
I think a lot of people give Oda too much credit for like planning everything from the beginning when it's actually pretty easy to just improvise your way through details.
I'd
Yeah,
say-
big sections.
I was gonna make a
sure.
facetious joke about it, but I'm kind of glad Alex just.
I don't even think. I think it is more of a credit that he is willing to go back and try and find pieces that fit together, even if he hadn't planned it from the beginning. Versus,
That too,
there's a lot of stories that they just don't care and they'll retcon it or forget that
I mean,
that
I
happened.
think just with a lot of manga artists, it's that like there's a certain amount of like challenging yourself by like kind of flying by the seat of your pants a little bit.
Yeah.
Like I think they obviously like all write with a plan in mind, but I think part of like the storytelling tradition of it is like there's a few things I won't figure out until I get there.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
you can't
think it's a
plan
combination. Yeah.
Yeah.
Steven.
So, two old ladies, Kuma, you got a 1 and 2 shot. Flip a coin. And he picks up one of them and he says, Bonnie, be a good girl while I'm gone. I'll be back when I'm able. And then Bulldog is like, Alston, that's my mother.
Yes, exactly.
Damn it, man! You're talking about my mother.
Steven, two winners in 2 panels. That's
Oh God.
And then poor little Bonnie, she's like, "You're leaving? I'll miss you." And we get a smash cut to a very dramatic showdown here with the marine ships in the background, and then Kuma just on the little. This is like Nami's little boat that she had when
but he's
she
half
first
the size
appeared.
of it.
Yeah, he's
Yeah.
gigantic.
And Bekori is there. We can see that he's got a. It looks like he's got a bandage over one eye or something. It's kind of hard to tell. It's very, very scribbly, but in this bubble, he's saying, "That's him, Navy. Kill him. He's the man who stole Sorbet Kingdom from me. A true tyrant who's committed all manner of atrocities." And then a very cool panel where he's just jabbing his finger. "Kill him now. I am the true king." And Kuma responds, "You were a fool to show your face around here again." And then Oda, naturally, Kuma sank all the ships.
That's probably one of my favorite Oda boxes in a while.
I was gonna say, you made the comparison to Nami, Steven. This makes me think more of Ace. At,
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Nanohana.
Yeah.
For sure.
I
Imagine telling your daughter you're gonna leave her, but looking into the eyes of a stranger, of just a strange old woman.
Yeah, I mean, I get it if your kid just learned how to age up, but yeah,
It's just really
unfortunately.
funny.
And also that one panel of Bonnie is adorable. The one right after he
very
mistakes
sweet.
Bonnie for Connie. Their names are also very similar, to be fair. We go to the next page as we learned that Kuma fled to sea and a bounty was placed on his head. And I thought we knew that bounty at some point, but maybe I'm incorrect. And through his pirate reputation and great strength, its value swelled over time. I've talked about this a lot. I love the fact that his pupilless eyes are really just glasses. He's just some middle-aged guy, and it looks
I
super
kind of always
menacing.
thought they were, but
Well, I think now they're
With a
more,
cyborg, yeah.
Yeah, I think now they're cyborg like glass eyes.
Yeah.
Or whatever.
His bounty is 296 million.
Okay,
296.
that's
at least-
where it ends up
yeah.
before he becomes a
He
warrior.
before he becomes warlord. Yeah.
We don't know what it started out with, though. So
And we begin
69.
we begin just 69 berries. That's it.
That's right.
We begin a little montage here as we see Bonnie and Connie, who is taking care of Bonnie. Is this confusing to anyone else? Bonnie saying, "I wish Daddy was here. I want to see him again." Pouting. And
I want to see Daddy fly.
tearing up a little bit.
No, Bonnie.
That is our most quoted
Uma
episode.
comes back and he's
Yeah.
like half robot. Don't look at me.
There it is.
Yes.
And Connie says, "I'm sorry, Bonnie, dear. Remember, Kuma's the hero who saved this land." And Bonnie's just like, "I don't care. He's my daddy." And I will say, when we get to the end of the chapter 2, I do like the selfishness of being a child and a parent go both ways here. Like, I don't care about the rest of the world. I just care about my dad, or I just care about my kid. Don't make me tear up. And then we have Bonnie over the
reconstruction.
palace, saying, once I'm 10 and I'm all better, I'll be a pirate too. And Connie's like, no, don't do that, dear. No, I don't care about you. You're old. I could turn into a grown-up. And then we get a montage of familiar places. I meant to look up all of the different ones. Bonaro Island, is that the first one? This is gonna. Okay,
this is Birdie Kingdom. Yeah.
Bonaro Island is the one Ace gets beaten at, right?
Yes.
That what I'm thinking?
Yeah.
Yes.
Birdie Kingdom. This is going to be my version of Jammer trying to remember names for things, so let's find this out.
I think I remember most of these.
We'll find out. So this is where Chopper went during the flashback. And Kuma is sailing in his little boat. We see the giant bird, hence the name I should have gotten. And he's talking to the residents saying, have you ever seen this disease before? I guess showing a picture of Bonnie. And they're asking... They're asking, oh, she can't be in the sunlight. The poor thing, empathizing. That's great.
Very, very fitting for Kuma to go here because I think from what I recall, they had like a pretty great library.
That's why Chopper.
Actually a lot more.
That's why Chopper was
intelligent
there.
than Chopper gave them credit.
Yeah,
for.
wasn't there like medical herbs too? Yeah.
Yeah, there was.
It was actually
It was a medicinal. It was like a medical island, or whatever. You
I
want.
think like Chopper said, like
Medical
the I think Chopper said the quiet part loud and the loud, and the loud part quiet. He just like
he did.
Saying like, oh, they may look dumb. They're like, oh, we're right here.
That was a good gag. And here Kuma is at this is where Mihawk is and where Zoro was sent with the mandrills.
Kuragana Island.
Yeah.
What?
Kuragana.
Yeah, I was never going to get that, actually.
It's called the Moody Kingdom?
I thought it was
Muggy
called... That's what I
Kingdom.
thought.
Yeah.
Something.
Muggy.
Muggy. I knew it was like an adjective describing something kind of
Muggy
crappy.
ball.
Meanwhile, Kuma, bumps into Jack Skeleton, who asks, "Excuse me, is this Halloween Town?"
No, he took a left. And here's
No, it's
Abdullah
Temple
and...
Beth Israel. I'm Pope Shlomo. What is it? No, it's the Vatican. I'm Pope Shlomo. That's the joke.
And here's Abdullah and Jeet saying, I spy a bounty. Everyone's favorite Dressrosa side characters.
Jeez. Ed, was Abdullah always was he always sticking those forks in his head way back then?
Yes, that was his only skill.
Noting that it's Bartholomew Kuma, and then we see Kuma blowing up their boat. It's good for him. And we head toward Baltimore, where Otakon used to take place. As you see here, as they respond, your daughter has... Or no, I'm sorry. This is his internal memory. Your daughter has 5 years to live at best. Going over all these scenes, she won't see her 10th birthday. So yeah, we see Baltimore before the Great Beast of Baltimore. We see the bridge to nowhere.
Tequila Wolf.
Thank you, Tequila Wolf.
Yeah.
I thought Leonard Nimoy was involved somehow. And Kuma talking to them. We see the place where Nami goes, Sky
before
Island.
that, I couldn't make out. Can anyone recognize the architecture in that
second
panel next to Tequila Wolf at all?
No.
It is
I don't know
so
which one that is.
generic. Well, is there...
Yeah.
Is there a place we're missing here, I guess? Who do we have? We have
Amazon
Zoro.
Lily.
Well,
No,
It's
it's
definitely not Amazon Lily.
No, it's not Amazon
it's
Lily.
not Amazon Lily. It's
No, Frankie
not,
is Baltimore.
Right.
Oh, no. It's where Brooke ended up, right?
Yeah.
yeah.
It must
Yeah.
be the
Oh yeah, with the
satanic
revolution.
worshiper.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
The Satanist Kingdom.
Yeah.
It could be. Yeah.
That's the only one
By
missing,
process
I
of
think.
elimination.
Yeah.
By process of
Yeah.
elimination.
The Boeing Islands.
How do you remember all this?
We do it every
We've
week
read it
for
many
15
times.
years.
Just do it every week for.
That's all it
14
takes.
years.
That's all it takes.
Sad-
I need to
sad
train
lives,
with the rest of the podcasters to
But
remember
then the
names.
the joy that when you recognize Heracleson, and then
Yeah.
that's why you do it.
Wait, what was the Nami?
Actually, his name is
It's
just
a Leo
Heracles.
It's just
Poitin.
Heracles. Yeah.
It's just
Na-
Heracles.
yeah. Nami's Island was with Area.
Thank you with the area.
How do you not remember that one?
Of all of them, yeah.
What was Heracles' island called? Boeing? The Boeing Archipelago?
Boeing Archipelago.
That I knew. Yeah.
The Schwing Island.
Okay. And we see the photo that Kuma's been showing everyone, and Kuma's just distraught that he has not been able to find an answer after going to all of these islands on the Grand Line that happen to be where the Straw Hats go. And here, this is probably the coolest and most detailed look at Dragon's ship we've gotten, I'm going to posit, at least the figurehead.
It's painted black.
Well, he's, you know...
It's the Maleficent prop from Phantasmic.
It's gonna catch fire, yeah.
It's gonna catch on fire.
That's why it's on the ocean.
And Kuma's boat is passing, and someone says, "Hey there," and I assume Morley is saying,
Hey there,
"Oh,
do you come with the car?"
Yes.
Yeah, there it is.
Oh, you.
Oh, you. And you see
Do you come
Bella.
with the boat?
I have like a lot I need to write down after this, and I'm not going to remember them. And you see Bello Betty, you see Morley, and you see Eggman, who is one of the vice, I think, district heads or whatever they're called.
That's
I
right.
forget his name.
I do too.
I could go look later, but we only
he's the
learned
walrus.
recently.
Yeah.
Cuckoo
Shut the fuck
Choo.
up, Donald.
Well, with that
And we
mustache.
have two fathers talking about how great of fathers they are.
Before we get to that, any other comments on this page that I missed?
You are correct, Zach, that is definitely Morley who's going, yoo
Okay, good.
Kuma. Yeah.
That it felt like Morley is the one who would do that.
Yes.
Morley's very outspoken. Who's next? Steve.
So we get to the next page, and the panel's just a big vibe. Everyone's just
Look at Morley's head.
it's huge. I think like Morley is like is like about the size of Kuma's chest, his head, I should say, one chest. Anyway, everyone's hanging out, having a drink, having a brewski,
On the stoop.
catching up, on the stoop. And we have Attractineers saying, "Eva and Inazuma were thrown in prison. And since I last saw you, you've been a king, a tyrant, and a pirate, eh?" I think it was interesting because we kind of thought like, oh, it's like maybe like Kuma like gives up like Ivankov and Inazuma, it's like to the government, and they get thrown and impelled down. I bet those idiots probably just like got like pulled over for like speeding,
Some
like,
little
"Hey,
offense, yeah.
Aren't you guys those revolutionaries?
No.
Carry on.
So we have Kuma here, who's got a big boy barrel for himself.
He's holding it with one
Boy.
finger.
I know.
I thought
big
that's
boy.
funny. It's like when you have the pinky out, except it's the
The opposite, yeah.
or like the tiny little T. Well, I just have those
The
because
pinky's
Noah
out.
has those.
It's like when the Princess Bride cast members tell that anecdote about Under the Giant holding like the can, but they're just talking about Kuma.
Yeah, this is Kuma the Giant's like fourth barrel of beer today. He's in a lot of pain. And we have Bella Betty like sitting on his shoulder with a heart. They're clearly flirtatious, what he says. But Kuma says, "It must have come as a surprise to you." And Betty says, "Nobody in the Revolutionary Army took those articles seriously, of course, heart."
Oh, that was Morley.
Oh, that was Morley.
I was gonna say that sounds
I
more
see.
like Morley.
You know what?
yeah.
It's a double tail. So
It is
yeah,
confusing. It is confusing.
mistake.
No, I thought that too at first.
But this is Bella Betty,
Yes.
right? Saying,
Yes.
"Hey Kuma, can I be the captain of the Eastern Forces?" And Kuma asks, like, "Why ask me?" And apparently, Dragon has said that the position is eternally eternally Guinea's until you give permission.
Ginny.
Ginny.
Ginny, sorry, I don't know. It's been a couple weeks. Get off my back.
Oh, I could have just said that when I messed up.
But Kuma says, "So it takes a foul-mouthed woman to run the Eastern Forces? I don't mind." And she says, "Yay!"
Yay.
So as we know, I was like only spunky women. And it's like all it takes just to be a spunky woman in this story. Anyway, Dragon says, "Sabo Koala and the others want to see you." We have promising young members rising through the ranks. I want to show them off to you. And Kuma's like, nah, I'm all right.
He doesn't actually
There's
respond to that, to be fair.
Yeah.
It's like, Hack really wants to say hi.
Who?
I know.
He says he's Jinbei's best friend, but we talked to Jinbei, and he's like,
This is a
They're not even
10-year-old joke.
They're not mutuals. Jinbei doesn't follow him.
No, he doesn't.
Kuma says, as we peer, we see his eyes through his glasses. He says, I've seen what's happening around the world, and I often wondered what you would have done, Dragon. I want to return to the fold, but, and I think, this is Dragon saying, Bonnie, like kind of just reading Kuma's mind. He says, as a matter of fact, I want to talk about her. You're aware of the Navy's scientist, Dr. Vegapunk, aren't you? After the recent accident, he's going to transfer to a new lab. I'm guessing this is referring
Punk
to
Hazard. Yeah.
Punk Hazard, yes.
Yes.
Caesar.
You finished my sandwiches there.
Ordinarily. So this is the era of Caesar Clown with a bob at the moment.
Yes, that's where we
Bob
are
era.
in the timeline. Yeah, Bob.
That's where we are.
That's how we determine time in One Piece.
I still can't get. I'm sorry. This is a branch off topic. I still can't get over how Vegapunk's silhouette in that flashback at Punk Hazard is 100% accurate to how he wound up looking. Like nobody was like reading. Like everyone thought, like, yeah, I guess that's like an arm or something. No, that's just his tongue.
the one silhouette,
wow.
the one correct silhouette in the series.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
It's so great. But Dragon adds, like, ordinarily he's kept under heavy security, but he's more approachable during the transition, which is odd. But we get a wide shot here of like the Revolutionary Army's really cool ship and Kuma's small little dinghy. It says, "Thank you, Dragon. In all honesty, I've given it up for lost. I'll go and speak with him." And we get an optimistic Kuma here saying, "If I could just cure Bonnie's disease, then I'd be happy to fight with you again." This is like some of the most Dragon has ever emoted here. When he just does the fist to the chest.
It's really
right here.
I love that too.
Me too. It's great.
Like,
If I could cure Body's disease, I would be so happy.
He
says,
just
"May
like
the
Dragon
may the
did this
winds
to
of
Luffy
fate
when
guide
he was
us
born.
well, my friend." He's like, "My man." And he just does the. I love it.
Nailed it.
That's like, I swear, I feel like this is the most like emotion we've got out of Dragon.
The only other time was when we first saw him. He had a lot of emotion.
It's time
I
to
don't know where it all
start.
went.
It's time to start making Dragon a character. God damn it!
Yeah,
Yeah.
seriously.
That's true.
Like
It's only
the
been
end of the story.
1,100 chapters. You know, let's give it
I
time.
think I might have mentioned this a couple episodes ago, but the dragon that we see the first time we see him, we never see again.
No.
In like flashbacks or in the
Yeah.
series. It just seems like, oh, that's a whole different character than anything we've seen. Of him just like staring off into the space or whatever, and just be like, oh,
Did we
my son?
mention-
I don't have one of those.
Did we mention the pun in Winds of Fate? I feel like he does those a lot, like the
Is it a pun or is it just like
a reference. I don't know.
It's a shtick.
A shtick.
Shtick.
That's my
Get it?
power, you know. Yeah, something along
he's
those
got-
lines.
he's got the
He doesn't have
win-win
time for
power.
emotion. He's got to stand there and think about revolutions and rebellion and the distance and squinting into the distance.
Yeah, go ahead, Steve.
So anyway, we cut back to I think a slightly older Bonnie here.
It doesn't say how much later this is, to be fair.
No.
Yeah, maybe not that much time's passed, but I don't know. It's just the forced perspective and stuff. But she seems a little bit older here. But she yells out, "Yeah!" As we see some goon here just beaten up to a buddy Paul, and he says, "I was going easy on her." And
That's the guy. That's her crewmate.
is this the same guy? He looks different.
He's all beaten
Maybe
up.
She knocked his hat off or whatever.
Okay, yeah. Oh, he knocked off his. Yeah,
Oh,
she knocked
really?
off his hat. And I believe this is Kuma walking through the door saying, "Bonnie, that was amazing. Daddy's home.
Daddy.
I'm back from the war." And Bonnie's so excited to see him. And we got a little bit of exposition here, some narration. And this is Naval Science Division, Laboratory 8, later known as Egghead. And just like before Disneyland was built, it's just all orange groves at the moment. Soon they'll build Tomorrowland over here, and a building that looks like a Game Boy Advance. Anyway, but we have like an exterior here of this laboratory, and I think this is Bonnie saying, "Where are we?" And this Kuma says, "We're seeing a doctor to get a checkup before your disease is healed."
So, I think this is around 6 years ago. He built that entire thing in 6 years or so.
I think the robots did most of the work, right?
Oh, that's true. The robots always do most of the work. Who do you think is recording this podcast right now? Anyway, Alex.
So, hey, it's Vegapunk. He says, "I've never seen a man like you before." And Kuma says, "I was just thinking the same thing." And he's carrying Bonnie in a tiny, looks like a little barrel trailer thing. I want to get a good
carrier.
Yeah, it's like a cat carrier, basically.
You put her in a cat carrier.
Yeah.
It's really cute.
And she's saying, "Great beasties, what's happened to his head?" Sorry, that line lives rent-free in my head. Might be my favorite line in Spaceballs today.
And for me, it's on backwards. But not quite. In this
Yeah. Anyway, she's like, his head, gross. So yeah, we see Vegapunk's gigantic head.
The shading on the tongue is like unnecessary.
He's using
It's
hockey
too
on
much.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now prepare for my tongue
Is
attack.
this the first time we've seen the back of his head like that, with like the hair going all the way up?
Yes, we've
Yeah.
seen it before. Yeah, I think.
Okay.
Anyways, Vegapunk is super excited. He's saying, "What a body! You have to let me study your muscles. For science, of course. And that's your sickly daughter, eh? Kind of a brat, huh? I don't mind a little lip, though." And he continues.
Yeah, I mean, look at that tongue.
I know.
Yeah.
Right?
He should have said, well, no, that would sound much worse.
I want to see. I mean, I guess we've seen Vegapunk as a kid, right? And he still has the tongue. Yeah.
We saw him
He was
younger.
a younger man.
I don't think we've seen him as a kid
No,
yet.
no.
Yeah.
Bonnie turned him into a little kid.
Oh, yeah.
You're right.
Yeah.
He did. Yes.
Yeah.
Once your tongue sticks out like that, that's when parents are like, "Don't make that
Yeah.
face, or else it's going to get stuck that way." That's
Yeah,
that's what
They'd
that's
slap
what
on the
happened.
back, and then that's it. Yep.
Turned him into a little Vegapump.
Vegapump. Vegapump.
A pup named
Scooby-Doo.
Vega. Yeah.
Oh, I'm
Alex
just
got it.
imagining a puppy
Yeah.
with a
Yeah,
gigantic
that's
head.
I mean, he is like a puppy. His tongue is
like a-
always out.
Yeah.
I wonder if
hot
Vegapunk has
puppy.
puppy breath.
Yeah.
All right, I got to do more Vegapunk voice.
Please
Hold on.
do.
All right, so he's saying, "Sapphire scales, you've done well to limit them for so long. She'll survive." And Kuma's excited. "Oh, she will." And then we see some panels of Bonnie getting babysat by Sentomaru. She's playing with his huge axe, and he's
Yeah,
like,
he's worried about.
No. He's doing
a
sumo
collector's
stuff.
item.
No,
It's a collector's item.
It's a sumo pose.
No, he
No, it
looks.
is a
No,
It
he
is.
looks-
No,
he
he's
looks worried.
He looks
fretting.
worried.
Yeah.
Yeah. Bonnie's here. It's like, I came in like a whacking ball. No, stop it.
To be
You're too
fair,
young for that.
yeah, this
He's
is.
too young.
Yeah. Okay. Let's move on.
Yeah, that's my glaive signed by Liam Neeson. Says, Vegapunk goes on to say, "I'll use the medical tech that I've been holding back from the public market. Technically speaking, I'll be generating new stem cells and transplanting them. Transplating is a different scientific procedure.
Is it?
Yes, it is. And he goes on to say that it's about just as much work and cost as creating a cyborg. And Kuma says she'll turn into a cyborg, and Vegapunk says it'll cost as much. You moron.
Kuma's just tuning out. He's like, "What, cyborg?"
Yeah.
To be fair,
It's like when your car needs a repair and you just kind be like,
that's
the
what it
car-
is.
What?
Yeah.
Yeah. Wait. Go back to the cyborg thing. I love how I think it'd be great if he had the little sparkles next to him when he was saying cyborg. Like, literally everybody in this comic is
Yeah.
impressed by the concept of a robot.
To be fair, it is
yeah.
impressive.
So looks like Vegapunk's going through the various tests that he's done on Kuma on this long sheet of paper, and he has a face fault, and he goes, "Tell me, are you a buccaneer?" And he says, "Yes." And he says, "You know I'm with the government, don't you?" And he's sweating bullets here. And Kuma says, "I trust Dragon wouldn't put me in danger. What makes my blood different than other people's?" Oh, Kuma, you sweet summer child. And he says, Vegapunk says, "Well, I don't have enough of a sample size to explain." And we get sort of a yada, yada, yada. And we see Kuma's freak out is so much it shakes the laboratory.
To be fair, he's big enough.
To its core, yeah. He says, "You want to make clones of me?" And he goes, "That's right. I've been looking for the right person to be the base for my clone soldiers." Soldiers. Ugh. Let me take that again. No, just kidding. Just provide me with blood samples and permission to create clone soldiers, and I'll cover the entire immense cost of Bonnie's operation. You can't pay for it yourself, I assume.
Well, look at him. He's evil.
What a devious
evil.
look.
Yeah.
Evil!
Yeah.
Well, it's money related.
That's insurance.
Yeah, this must be to the point where he's like, "Oh boy, I better, you know what? I should probably split up the evil part of my brain into a hot lady."
Yeah.
I really like this drawing of Vegapunk though. Like the side eye works really, like, even though he's stuck in this goofy face, you can really tell, like, oh.
Well, you know, at the heart of it, he's all about, you know, funding for his projects. You know,
Yeah,
him and Caesar aren't so different.
He did mention that in the flashback with Dragon and O'Hara, how the reason he joined the government in the first place was so he could get the money to research his projects and so on. So
yeah.
fits together.
Next
Ed.
page.
Yes, Kuma continues, I won't be declining the offer either way. But what will you do with them? All these soldiers that look just like me, will they be in the Navy? That's right. Tell me, do you like electromagnetic energy? When they see our human beings shooting laser beams, those pirates will go mute with shock. They'll be laid low by the overwhelming power of science. My soldiers' bodies will be hard as shields, deflecting bullets and saving the populace. They'll be heroes to the common man. The mighty warriors from the future. And then... But Kuma he's thinking, and he sort of butts in. He's an odd man, but true to his desires, and trustworthy.
And he steams a good ham.
No, I was going to say that the soldiers could take a chair to the back of the head, like nothing.
I'm just saying, like, Vegapunk is so optimistic. He's having the speech, and just the scene that's running through my mind right now when I close my eyes is the opening of T2 Judgment Day, where you just see the field of human skulls and then just get stomped on.
Yeah.
By
Hey,
the
we're all
T800.
we're science. We're all about coulda, not shoulda.
By the way, I hate this panel because of the perspective on Vegapunk's head. It just looks
The middle one.
Like a heart.
weird. Yeah.
All right, so Vegapunk immediately recognizes and says, "That's what dragons said about me. The nerve." But Kuma says, "Perhaps if clone soldiers based on me save other people's lives, then my own life will have meant something." Dragon's going to be furious about the terms. Vegapunk says, "Well, I'm nothing but grateful to you both."
No, I think...
Or is that him saying both?
I think you flipped
No,
it.
yeah.
so
Dragon-
Dragon's going to be furious was Vegapunk.
It's also Vegapunk.
Vegapunk.
And no, I'm nothing
And
but
Kuma
grateful to you
says,
both
yeah.
is Kuma.
Is Kuma. Okay.
yeah, talking about Dragon and Vegapunk. Yeah.
Right. All right, so Kuma continues. "I would make a deal with you to save Bonnie's life, even if you were the devil himself. Just save Bonnie." And Vegapunk says, "You're a true saint." But back at Sacred Marijoa, the godhead of science and technology, or whatever his exact title is, says, "Clone soldiers are weapons, and weapons are valued by how many they can kill. Vegapunk would let a golden opportunity slip through his fingers, but I have a plan to deal with this." And someone on the other end here says, "As you say, my lord." But back with Kuma and Vegapunk, we continue. "A saint? No, I'm nothing like that. Just a weak-willed pacifist. And Vegapunk, with the look of absolute joy and delight, his eyes closed in glee, says, I like that. I think I'll use it for the name of my future soldiers. That's ironic.
What a shithead.
What the fuck? Concept of what
I hate that.
Yeah. But it's the exact opposite of the image from the previous 2 pages. It's just in the same place on the page, and it couldn't be more different.
Chainsaws for hands. Grrr!
Yeah.
Just
Build Adrian Barboba with hard.
two things I want to note here. We have a black transponder snail, so presumably this is Saturn eavesdropping.
He's listening. I see.
Yeah, he's listening on this conversation. The second thing is, I don't know if this is in the Japanese as well, but I do like the juxtaposition with Vegapunk calling Kuma a saint, a thing that he basically is, versus Saturn being called, my lord, and actually being a god amongst, the everyone else. I thought, and being insanely evil, I thought was interesting. So that does it for 1099. We have 1100 next week. But before next week, we have to talk about this chapter. Steven, you want to kick us off?
Yeah, it's another really dense chapter. I think this one was much more successful. I mean, there were lots of issues, of various types with the previous chapter. The one that, to say nothing else, had all of the art issues and whatnot. And I remember that was definitely a point of contention. I think Steve was talking about it too, where it was just kind of like hard to follow, hard to tell what was going on. And I feel like this one is back to being much more, it flows much better.
It's the usual level of hard to read.
Yeah, sure.
I messed up like twice in that last page.
Yes.
Yeah. It is it kind of back to the normal level, and I do think it does kind of continue the trend of this or the general pattern of this flashback for Kuma, which is to say that it's it tugs at the heartstrings a lot for Kuma and for his relationship with Bonnie, and sort of the lengths that he's going to. I feel like it's doing a really good job of really painting the picture of his priorities and what is driving him from moment to moment or from year to year, in terms of showing you the different sides of his personality when he is when he becomes this kind of war. It's almost like a warrior of goodness, or a vigilante. I made the joke about Frank Miller's Kuma, but it really does kind of feel like he's the guy who is gonna get devious in order to take out the people that are doing truly evil things like Bikori. But he also obviously has this very soft side, his chicken side, as Bonnie calls it. I feel like it's all done very well, and it is really painting an effective portrait of who he is as a character and why all of these things that he's been seen doing in the story prior to this point, kind of what helps put them into perspective. Obviously, I think with the last page and with Saturn, you get an idea that, like, I don't know how much control Vegapunk has over what happens with his his creations once he has kind of sold them off or put them into mass production. So whether or not this was inevitable, or if it is a particular event that we are going to see where Saturn causes the roboticization of Kuma or not, where he loses his personality. It doesn't really seem like this is something that is a necessary part of what Vegapunk wants to do with him. So clearly that seems like it is something that that Saturn is preparing. We'll see how that happens. And I guess the last thing is I do really like, we talked about it a bit. I do really like the depictions of Vegapunk as he is acting in a way that is befitting of a guy who we have seen, slice up his personality into 6 different segments, which include evil and greed. And I've always been hoping that Oda would continue to be consistent about that, because there's been too much bad stuff also associated with Vegapunk's creations for him to be a perfectly funny and kooky and blameless character. And so I like getting to see him be a little devious here in various ways that, make him a very human character, and kind of show the, the naivete that he has in certain regards. And I do really appreciate the way that he's been showing a Vegapunk off that way. And that's what I got to say.
Dennis.
Agreed with a lot of stuff that Steven has said. I also really enjoyed, mainly about that doesn't seem like this would be the process on how Kuma becomes kind of robot cyborgy. So definitely something that Saturn probably has a hand in. I did enjoy the beginning part of the chapter where Kuma does his solo revolution, and now we get more insight into why he's been labeled the king tyrant and stuff. When seeing the other flashbacks, you're like, I wonder what caused him to get that, and now we know, and I'm okay with that. I also enjoyed Bonnie using her powers to turn into Connie. That running joke was great. I kept laughing at it all the time. I loved it a lot. And let's see, I'm not sure what else I want to talk about, because I want to give other people a chance to. I guess the throwback to all of the places that the Straw Hats were sent to during the Shibandi arc, that was a fun thing to catch in the morning, reading it, and then getting to talk more about it in peace, which place is which, because like Zach, I also forgot all of the names for those places. So, yeah.
The poster child now. Steve, what did you think of the chapter?
It was really good. I think probably the things I liked about it, I think everyone else is going to say. I did like seeing this, the destinations the Straw Hat were sent to. I think it's just more really, some great scenes with Kuma and Bonnie and Vegapunk, really to flesh out these characters some more. As talked about Dragon too, it's just a little bit, just I don't know, it did wonders for that character. Sorry, as I drop my mouse. Just going through the chapter here. I'm just trying to think if there's anything else I might be able to bring up that maybe someone might pass on. Not in particular. I would just say this is a very well drawn chapter. I really like some of these panels. Some of these intense ones with Kuma in the beginning are just beautifully rendered. The one thing that's going to stand out to me from this chapter is the gag with Connie. It's so funny. It's Oda nailed it, just like that helpless expression of just an old woman being picked up is hilarious. And it threw me off at first, because I read that first and I'm like, oh, she's able to age up and all of a sudden get a hat and all that. And then I look to the left and I see it's Bonnie. I cracked up. And then the ET panel, as Steven called it, is really great too. And then I was not expecting a callback to the gag again with Kuma picking up his own daughter, unable to recognize her. It's wonderful. It's just great gags here. I don't. It's just this was I think this one it feels a lot better. Of course, and I mean it's last chapter had so much going against it for multiple reasons, but having a complete chapter here, it's just, of course, I think definitely makes me a little more biased to it. But I just think it's great. And like I said, like I've been saying, these flashbacks move at a breakneck pace now, but I still think all the beats are there. I don't think there was any moment in this chapter where I felt lost, as opposed to some others where I just couldn't understand the flow of the pages. But this was good. I'm glad Oda got a break, because I think some rest did him wonders for this chapter. It's a good one.
Sean.
I agree with everything Steven and Steve were saying about this feels a lot better. It's back to normal, but also kind of what we were talking about with it's back to normal pace, where it's not ideal, but it's certainly not as bad as the last couple of chapters were. And Zach, on Blue Sky, we were talking about how it's still like it's still suffering from the fact of like these flashbacks don't have a lot of time to breathe. And this is the highlight of the flashback so far, because I think we get a lot of like good momentum and good pacing of like leading up to, okay, oh, here's how, with a smile, he accepted becoming a robot, or at least sealed his fate. And it's kind of tragic that he's making this deal and all that, like all the motivation stuff is really strong. I really like all of that. But I think like if we had had more time to breathe with some of the other parts of the flashback, this would hit a little harder. Regardless, I think like the actual like story and stuff is all really strong. I do like finally getting to like Kuma was always this big figure when he first appeared and when he came around later on, before the time skip. So to actually have like this solid answer of like where he came from and what his motivations were and how he became what he became. And he was always this hulking beast, but much more, kind-hearted. And I don't know. It's just cool to finally see, like, I tend to describe One Piece arcs as the pieces of a puzzle being like thrown out across the floor and then slowly coming together. And it finally feels like we have that for Kuma's character arc. And it was just really well done. I thought this chapter, like I said, I felt like it could have been spread out a little bit more, but it wasn't so muddled like the last few were.
Alex.
Yeah, great chapter. Echoing a lot of what other people said. Really gorgeous looking chapter. That panel and that first panel of Kuma, like really enraged. Like the lower left of that first spread is really awesome. I don't think has this been brought up at all about Kuma's like what he wears, like his well, in the SGS, Stephen, you and Greg brought up that he sort of wears a target, which I think is interesting. His clothes are sort of like a target, but he also has like the priest collar too.
Yeah.
Which I think is cool. As a cool like part of his design that I don't know was intentional initially.
I mentioned it a little, I think, a few weeks ago, but when we see Bonnie reading that Bible, and also when he's holding the Bible, like in his first appearance, it has that same target logo, and it just makes me
a little half and half.
It's the priest collar thing that really like stands out to me more than anything. Besides the target, which I think is a really cool read on it. But I
was going to say too that I do like that we are seeing these like badass like the panel you're talking about that is like really awesome looking. We get this juxtaposition between those and like the softer moments with Bonnie. So it's like we're seeing what he's going to become and what's going to be focused on and what's going to be pulled out of him. The softer moments are going to be pulled out of him, and the more like angry badass fighter is going to be amplified.
Sure. Yeah. Good observation there. So while I do like the fact that we saw all the islands that like, oh, these are all the places that the Straw Hats were sent to, I still don't get a sense of like why he sent them there. It's really not clear to me. I think it almost seems like a box checky thing to me. I think it's cool, but I also think that like, okay, I feel like it sort of needed to be put in there somewhere in his flashback. And I don't know. This seemed like a sort of hand-wavy way to do it, I guess. I don't know. Not that I was expecting anything.
I kind of agree. I get what you're coming from. Yeah. Yeah.
So that's sort of how I felt about that. I'm like, okay, this is cool, but okay, whatever. I just kind of wish there was a little more to it than that. I suppose at some point we will see, what Kuma did whisper to Rayleigh in that Lost in Translation moment on Shabandi.
I think we got that after the time skip, right? Doesn't Rayleigh say what Kuma whispered?
I don't think so.
I thought.
So I look forward to hearing that at some point. Great to see the Revolutionaries. I love them. Such a great eclectic group of character designs. Just really good stuff. Dope ship. Really, really cool. One of the cooler ships that we've seen in a while. Dragon ship, anyway. Sorry, I'm just going through the chapter. Yeah, ditto on seeing Vegapunk as sort of like a fully realized person with scruples and weaknesses. Because at this point in the arc, we've only seen him as this lovable, goofy Einstein like figure, whereas we don't see him during the production of the horrors that he has wrought on this world. Another thing that I think is interesting is Saturn, because I think the elders, the 5 elders, are sort of depicted as these high tower guys who never leave their room, really, and Saturn's the only one we've seen leave the room, really, like in this flashback, right? Because we don't see the other ones during. We might see them, I guess, when we come back to God Valley at some point, but we see him there. He runs into Kuma. He knows who he is, the Buccaneer boy, and here he is again. And I guess because he's supposed to be involved in the world defense and science and stuff like that, it just seems like it's sort of. I don't think it's that sweaty, I guess, of putting him into the main story because we see what we need to see for this, but it just seems sort of, I don't know.
It makes sense that the godhead of science and technology would be spying on Vegapunk constantly.
Yeah, I guess it's just coincidence and happenstance that Kuma just happens to be within eye shot of this guy. Also, I think it's kind of funny that everything that we see what Connie's wearing, and it's basically Bonnie's pre-time skip outfit.
Yeah,
it's the
I noticed that.
Yeah.
It's also, I think, Bulldog's wearing the same sort of thing. So
yeah,
maybe that's.
I didn't even realize.
Yeah.
I assume
royalty,
it's the sorbet. Yeah.
So that could be like sort of like I don't know if it's a retcon or not, but like it's a convenient way to put a context to Bonnie's outfit.
And Alex, I'm here to correct you. Chapter 603, we find out he says, "I am an executive of the Revolutionary Army, and I have a certain connection with the Straw Hats, and I want to help them escape." And that's what he whispered. Yeah. Okay,
so I mean, then I want to find out the connective tissue. I want to find out more about that then, because I guess we're going to find out that last protocol that he gave himself before he became full cyborg. Which,
the mission complete.
Obviously, we haven't gotten yet.
Yeah.
So anyway, great chapter.
Ed.
That was great.
This is a great chapter for faces, I think. Just King Bakori has great evil facial expressions in this chapter, and Kuma, just that first page that I read where he punctuates the page with the I don't know if Oda's used this much black ink on a page ever before, or even in a panel. That's one of the darkest panels he's ever drawn. Things are on fire, but also his rage is coming through. So, but just the way Kuma emotes throughout the rest of the chapter, he's this placid sort of. He really is this pacifist, and so we just see him go through, his sort of desperation, and with the looking for a doctor as parallels to the Corazonan Law scene, except he's much better at finding a doctor who can actually cure something. And it is interesting that that Saturn would be informed of that there's a new king in the sorbet. I mean, I understand why he's monitoring Vegapunk, but I mean, I guess all the elders are told, so he's the only one we're looking at right now. But that
might be it.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, it was a very funny chapter, as everyone's been saying. The Connie Bonnie jokes, it really works. Just to have that into the future, and just the way that Connie is drawn, or Bonnie is drawn when she's trying to transform and can't. And that's just sort of happening in the background. But this makes this chapter a very. I think Oda, he brings the lightness back after how dark the last chapter was. And it has the usual One Piece, let's say, there's jokes everywhere. There's jokes everywhere in this chapter, which is more of the norm for Oda than keeping it so brutally dark as it was last chapter. So I just like to see Oda bringing bringing that back. But we get the contrast again between the good leadership and the bad leadership. I was looking at, I've been thinking about King Bakori, and just the way that he sucks up to the world government, the way he's sort of just never ending, no caring for his people, but just trying to get into their good graces. It's just, it's the most selfish way to act, and Kuma provides the sort of diametric opposite of that by being this completely selfless character who's willing to give up basically everything. He would make a deal with Vegapunk even if he was the devil, just to save his daughter. So he's just sort of this sacrificing figure. Yeah, I think Oda's been watching a lot of Game of Thrones lately, and this is the very, very season 7-8 Game of Thrones. It was talked about a lot. Yeah, it was a really, really great chapter. I'm just loving the humanity of Dragon as well. Just the way, he interacts with, he's interacting with his crew like he's a normal person as opposed to just being the commander all the time. Which is, yeah, that's the dragon, like you guys were saying, it's the Dragon that we see. But this is the Dragon that I'm more interested in. It's time for Dragon to be a character in this series and not just sort of staring into the middle distance. But, yeah, the way Vegapunk vacillates between, him with his human problems of these things that he's tried to divorce himself of, with really no thought as to the consequences of it. It just seems that these aspects of himself weren't, they weren't conducive to his work, so he split them up and turned them into 6 different people. But he's just all about. He explicitly say that he signed up with the government for the money to pursue his ideas, and no matter where it takes him, he's going to follow his ideas, and whatever happens afterwards, well, is an inventor really responsible for the consequences of his invention? I don't know. Watch Oppenheimer.
So, that transitions. Did you have more, Ed? I don't want to.
No, that was pretty much it. Yeah, just his joy, just the ironic, dark joy. It's not dark to him, but he's very joyful in this last panel here, and he's not thinking really at all of what. I think Saturn's right. Soldiers kill people, and what do you doing, Vegapunk? You're happy that this guy's a pacifist. He's a saint. You're congratulating him. I'm going to take your body and use it to make soldiers to kill people. Fuck you.
Yeah. And call them pacifistas.
Let me say a few things. Alex, go ahead.
I just want to mention that Oppenheimer, the movie, it's basically it's based on this book that equates Oppenheimer himself to Prometheus, stealing the fire from the gods and giving it to the world. And I think it's kind of funny that Vegapunk wants to create this ultimate energy source, which is like an undying fire.
Yeah.
And I do wonder if Oda looked into this particular figure in history.
Yeah. I watch Oppenheimer. Also watch The Wind Rises. So
I'm one of the few people who have not.
The One Piece podcast Oppenheimer connection. That's the OPP-enheimer.
There were a few things I wanted to say, specifically about Vegapunk, and specifically from a Japanese perspective, I'm interested in how Albert Einstein is viewed as a figure in history, because I think there was also
they based Dr. Wily after him, so
I don't know that reference.
Mega Man.
What Mega Man? The bad guy, Mega Man.
It's okay,
Thank you,
Zach.
Steve. I played Mega Man. I had a Game Gear, but I think with I try to read up a little bit on Albert Einstein. I used to know more when I was younger, but he has a very interesting arc in his career. He was someone who was very opposed to war, and yet was kind of one of the voices that made the atomic bomb possible. And a lot of his work was obviously used in that, with or without, his consent. But he wrote the letter to Roosevelt suggesting that if we don't do this, Hitler will use it against us. And understanding where he's coming from, but at the same time knowing the evil that atomic weaponry has unleashed on the world, it feels especially as someone in Japan, I am sure it resonates, the idea of someone who has such a wealth of knowledge, but also such a naivete about how his knowledge is going to be used. I think this is obviously an exaggeration of kind of Einstein's contradictory positions in pacifism and in being instrumental in one of the great tragedies of history.
Well, I think
the
that's
great weapons
interesting
of
too,
history.
because like him wanting to separate himself seems like a very much a type of thing that somebody with that kind of weight and impact of their career and knowledge would want to do. Like they'd want to pull away the part that makes them feel guilty, the part that makes them feel angry, or the part that wanted it.
I don't know how much. What I'm trying to also figure out for Vegapunk is how much guilt and recognition of the consequences does he have in the current day. So I think that will come. I think his comeuppance will happen. And I really do think
isn't that what's caused his break with the world government that's occurring currently?
Yeah,
he's about to run away.
Right. You're right. That's true. I think in this moment that we see at the end of the flashback, I really think that he believes he is doing a service for humanity. Whether or not that's true, and it's very clear it's not, because we know what happens, but I think it's more for the dramatic irony of the moment to show this man thinks he's doing the right thing. He says, I want to build these things to protect, kind of exactly the thing that happens in Sorbet Kingdom. Like, we'll have a bunch of Kumas to save the populace. That's what's going through his mind.
Right. Normally pirates are the bad guys, right?
Right.
That's what we're taught.
And I think Vegapunk thinks he's coming from the right place. He is not, very clearly. But
surely war machines will help stop this war.
But that's like exactly what Einstein did. That's what he was thinking. And I mean, when you have the
Vegapunk
Nazis
is single-handedly
on the other
inventing
side,
the military-industrial complex.
He is, yeah. And I think part of the reason is it also the other half of it, and the greed half of it, is that doing those things for the government are what enable him to do the things he actually wants to do. The bloodline elements, and like really finding the secrets of science that drive him. I think it's a super...
Isn't that everyone's day job?
The secrets of science?
No, it just means the funds, the things we actually want to do.
Yeah. I mean, to be fair, especially freelancers, and I know we have several in here, it makes sense why he does what he does.
Yeah.
But we know
I
as
apologize.
readers...
I just equated war crimes to a 9 to 5. Don't look into that. I'm just...
It's okay. Zach followed it up with equating it to freelancing.
We are on chapter 1099, so...
Oh. Well.
Oof. Ouch.
I mean... Oh, don't remind me.
The taxes.
So
thing means the taxes.
I'm almost done. I think this flashback is unique in that it really is conglomerating things we've seen throughout the series in this one character who's touched so many stories from
When did Kuma first appear?
He first appeared in Skypiea. Yeah, right before Jaya.
Jaya.
But he first appeared with the Straw Hats in Thriller Bark, and thereafter repeatedly. So he has been weaved through this story, and I think because of that, us as readers know the consequences of his and Vegapunk's actions. Obviously, they do not, and I think that's good storytelling because we're filling in the gaps because of what we know. I really am curious if in the next few weeks, the next chapters or 1100, we get a rehashing of, as Alex said, the stuff in Jaya, the stuff in Shabati, the stuff in Thriller Bark, the stuff that has followed. And, that is Kuma's story. Do we see what happened with the Straw Hats getting separated through Kuma's eyes? Like, how much rehashing, quote unquote, do we get? Rashomon, kind of like this is from his
before
perspective.
That we're going to get like we're gonna get him becoming a cyborg, and then the switch being turned off of like his free will. Yeah, but like
I just wonder how Oda plans to weave the story into stuff we've already seen. If it's going to be glossed over, or if it's going to be kind of pivotal. And as Alex mentioned, the connection with the Straw Hats raises lots of questions. I don't think I have much else to say that hasn't been said. I think this was a vast improvement from last week. I think this fixes a lot of the problems I was complaining about on the last manga recap. Sans some big ones, but it fixes a lot of the problems with the pacing, I think. This chapter did not feel rushed. I felt like all the things I said about the last few, I don't feel in this one. It
fixed the chapter-to-chapter pacing, but because the flashback overall has had rough pacing,
I don't know if I'm
tired, but
I don't know if I'm in a place yet I feel like I need to really read the whole thing before I'm like, the pacing is all bad. And also, I'm sure Oda
towards the end.
I'm sure
I wanted to just give it a full read.
I'm sure Oda will also do some like real review on that previous chapter we had because he didn't finish it. So I don't know like how in depth he'll go. But this makes me a little more optimistic of the rest of the flashback, and certainly Wonder Saturn, we still know, is going to do something pretty horrific to Kuma, which is one of the reasons Bonnie stabbed him. And I'm curious how that's all going to fit in. Any other
Saturn's
final
probably
thoughts?
also going to end Sega's career as console makers, but that's unrelated. Bad joke. Nobody. Okay, fine.
I do want to point out that I think Vegapunk bangs his head in the second to last page.
No, yeah, he definitely
Yes, he
does. He
does.
goes gunk.
Yeah.
It's super funny. That needs to happen more. I think, like, I don't know. I guess he can't now because he cut his head off. But
Yeah. He was so excited, so enthusiastically gesticulating, throwing his head back that he hits his head on the wall.
it's really good.
It's good. Yep.
Oh, I would have never gotten that. How does he keep that thing up? Other
He
questions.
doesn't anymore. He doesn't.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
Strong neck
He-
knuckles.
His current design is much less horrific than... Somehow having an exposed cranium is less horrific than this. Any final thoughts?
That's hard to cosplay, though.
Have you ever just tried sawing the top of your head off and putting an apple on
I'll
it?
pass.
Yeah, okay, fine, I guess. That'll do it for the manga recap. Let's move into the next segment. This is the Piece Together segment where we take your questions, comments, and theories, including, do you come with the boat?
Oh, yeah.
Ed. Not Ed. Ed, what's our first segment?
Zach, that is this piece.
Alex is going to go through our Discord questions from our lovely patrons out there. And I think that's all we got this week. So let's do it, Alex.
All right. Our first piece comes from Big Mike, who writes, "Hey OPP, do you think the reason why Dragon doesn't look much like Luffy or Garp is because Dragon's future ended up being the one where things went wrong, like in the SBS, when Oda showed us what the Straw Hats would look like when they get old? We still haven't seen him when he was
He's not
young,
bald
so
enough.
so he could have looked like Luffy. Also, he would have been 17 during God Valley, so he could have been there as a chore boy in the Marines, or whatever else happened after what could have warped him. P.S. I guess I speak for the male listeners. Can you guys please do a Yuri Thunderdome?
Why is that the male listeners?
I mean, if you've ever listened to Yaoi Thunderdome, there's plenty of Yuri in there too. So
That is true. Yes, it is.
Yaoi Thunderdome just has a better ring to it. Rolls off the tongue quite nice. Rolls off the bum.
Dragon.
Okay. Anybody else have any thoughts on this?
I still find it odd that Dragon and Luffy look so distinctly different, and it's mentioned in the manga when he sees his face for the first time in the newspaper. When Luffy sees Dragon's
Luffy
face.
probably looks like his mama.
I mean, the Garp genes are stronger. That's all.
I was gonna say, and we know Garp is Dragon's father, because it could have been
his mother?
a maternal. It could have been the maternal grandparent. Mother is Dadan. What's
Your
next?
thoughts linked with your mother. Reverse Sapphire Patch says, "Heyo there, opinionated people who poop."
That's the name of the
Looks-
podcast.
Yes, looks like we got our long-awaited cameo of Abdullah and Jeet getting wrecked that we were all expecting, right? Who could forget all the memories of those two totally doing things? Speaking of doing things, it's interesting that Kuma knew to send Chopper to Bird Doctor Land, given that not even the world government knows Chopper is a real doctor, but he's not a real pet. Was he watching the crew fight oars or something? Maybe Kuma followed the crew through all that wacky ice filler, Strong World, and Duval shenanigans between Pearl Park and Shabandi. What other
He
adventures?
just thought it would be really funny.
I'm sorry. Where is it? What other adventures do you think he saw? P.S. I guess I speak for the female listeners. Can you guys please do a Yuri Thunderdome?
Oh, the running
We're covering all the bases.
request.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure.
Man, I loved it when Abdullah and Jeet sent the guys into the well on the side of the mountain, and
I
then
hated that. Oh,
they
my.
went in. Wow.
No, that was the Funks.
No, that was Abdullah and Jeet, wasn't it?
I think
No,
it
they
was-
were there
No,
too.
they rode with Luffy.
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
Oh, you're right.
Oh, they weren't the
Fuck
ones who.
you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, that's right. That's right.
Abdullah and Jeet are in the Grand Fleet now, I believe.
They
on
are.
Ideo's
With
boat?
Hideo and Bluegilly. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
They are.
It's the boat of and the rest. That's that boat.
They're the rest.
The rest.
They just they roped in mixed martial arts and professional wrestling together. It's like, it's the same thing.
Yep.
Team Punchy Kiki. Wisdom Pythagoras says, "Hey OPP, if Jinbei was on Shabandi with the crew back then, and Kuma were to send him somewhere, where would Jinbei like to go?"
Oh.
Lake George.
Where's that?
New
Is that
York.
New York
New York.
City?
I could definitely see Jinbei there, by the way. That's a.
Lake
It's
George.
that. It's like a very touristy, like this is where I'm going to go to relax kind of place. Right?
It
That's a
seems
good
like he'd
description.
enjoy wearing
Because-
a bucket hat and fishing.
It's because y'all don't have real beaches in New York.
We have real beaches in New York. They're just
lake.
all on Long Island.
He'll
lake.
He'll go to Margaritaville.
Where would
go to
one go to be a
Margaritaville.
better? Where would one go to be a better helmsman? I guess. Sure.
Yeah, I forgot to say it during the recap, but I'm surprised. I would be surprised if Jinbei was not the creator of the "To Eat Is to Live" or "To Live" it, shirt.
Good shirt.
Yeah.
Straw Hat Pirate 9 writes, "Hello, OPP. Hello, OPP gang. Long time no dispiece. I was gone all of October, finally able to go to Japan. Hey. Went to Kumamoto, saw all the Straw Hat statues. It was amazing.
Whoa.
Thread of the adventure is in my Twitter. So that's a great plug. I will go there at some point soon. If any of you are thinking of seeing them, rent a car. It is the way to go. You see so much of Kumamoto. It is really a beautiful prefecture. I was playing catch-up on all the podcast episodes I missed. The OPLA episodes have been so cool. Thank you for those, and also thank you so much for your thoughts on the previous manga recap app. Especially from Vera, it was so great to hear. All I can say about this chapter is how could Oda not show us how Bonnie got that fruit? I really feel it's to hit whatever milestone he wants to hit for chapter 1100, but it really is just kind of annoying that she somehow got her hands on the fruit when she can't even leave the church. I mean, come on. Anyway, this got pretty long. Thank you for taking the time to read it.
Kumamoto is wonderful. It is quintessential Japan. Like I think I described it as like the Nebraska of Japan. It's just like the first state. If someone asks you, what's the state of the United States, and you're not from here, so I'm glad you got to see that. I wish I went by car. Steven, sorry.
If like getting a devil fruit power is just as simple as like eating a random piece of fruit and not knowing if it's going to trigger, like what kind of a fucking like Russian roulette system, like nobody would want to eat fruit in the world of One Piece.
I think they look pretty obviously evil or whatever.
The doctor is saying, you've got to eat more fruit or to keep me away. And he's like, oh, God, no.
I think Bonnie, like Luffy, is just stuffing anything they can into their face. That's what it is.
She missed the fruit that looked like Connie.
This is the look before you eat.
Too.
This is the look before you eat kind of thing.
It was the ugly fruit.
That tasted bad, but
and I think like if there's books about it, neither Luffy nor Bonnie are reading any books that tell them what a devil fruit is.
They're only reading the Bible, which tells stories of Sky Islands and
also not eating fruit,
to them.
so that doesn't work either.
Yeah, Bonnie's homeschooling regimen could use a little work. I know.
And Ram McNally, where people wear hats on their feet and hamburgers eat people. So, I actually do think in the same vein that the One Piece magazine keeps revealing what these devil fruits look like, and they're way too on the nose. I really do hope that the age fruit looks exactly like Connie's face.
She just looks really wrinkled. Yeah. Like one side of it should be underripened, the middle should be ripe, and then the other side should be completely rotten.
Like Two-Face. Professional Poyo says, hello, PP. Well, I think we OP fans will all remember where we were that Thanksgiving morning when we saw the MDL assassination live on our screens.
Oh my God.
The media says it was a tree branch that took out our captain, but I'm not buying it. Which shady institution is trying to stop One Piece popularity from spreading?
Monkey D. Luffy is MDL. I was trying to figure out what the hell that meant.
Oliver Stone will make a movie about it in 2 years.
It's the anime equivalent of the Trilateral Commission.
Was it back into the left? That is where the branch was. To be fair,
right?
It was back in the. Was it on top of a grassy knoll? That's what I want to know.
Yeah, good thing is that Pruder was there on ANN, taking footage.
Yeah, find out who really assassinated the balloon on Rob Reiner's new podcast.
Jesus,
that's a real thing, by the way.
He talks about the Monkey D. Luffy balloon deflating.
No, he talks about like who really shot JFK.
Oh, that's much less interesting.
Yes. Bartholomew Crama says, ahoy, OPP. And, of course, Bartholomew Crama says their famous catchphrase, banger chapter as always.
Is that really?
Okay, if it's Crama, does that mean the opposite is called Crampaw?
Crampon.
Isn't that one of those mountain climbing
devices?
Mm-hmm. Yes, a
crampon. That's a crampon.
A crumb
I'm
bum.
pretty sure he was calling you a crumb bum.
Do you know what he called me today? A crumb bum.
What's the question?
The question is, Kuma's such a cute dad and Bonnie is adorable.
That's not a question.
I know. I love that Vegapunk's so into his science that he's become too naive as to how it will be used and that the Pacifistas will harm people instead of saving them. My question this week is, do you think Kuma visited many fast food places on his travels, and if so, which ones? P.S. I guess I speak for the non-binary listeners. Can you please do a Yuri Thunderdome?
Wow,
everyone fun day.
Don't look at us. We don't write this shit.
I don't go to AO3.
So. I mean, the demand is out there. I mean,
they're horny for Lucci and Spondum. What do you want us to do about it?
Wait, so they were asking what fast food places Kuma would stop at?
Yes. Yeah. Do you think that he visited many fast food joints, and which ones?
I think so. I want to say he's a Carl's Jr. guy. That feels like a very dad drive-through.
Or Hardee's.
Yeah, depending which side of the Mississippi he sailed on.
Yeah.
Is there any fast food chain with a bear logo? Since that feels the most appropriate for Kuma.
There's a diner.
I think
Black Bear Diner.
Never heard of
it. I think A&W used to have bears.
Oh. Blackbird Diner is a funny one, but yeah.
I can't answer.
Charmin, maybe he went
Imagine
to buy some
one of those.
He's drinking detergent.
Charmin's not detergent.
Was What's the
Snuggle?
Snuggle?
Snuggle is the detergent. Charmin is the bears that love to wipe the bear family who's obsessed with wiping their ass.
They love wiping poop. Just get a bidet, bear family. Jesus.
Complete. Oh, la-di-da, a bidet. Okay,
Well, what do you call it?
Call an asshole.
An ass spray, yeah.
Totally different.
Does that answer your question?
No, totally different character. Capone Beige. He goes to White Castle.
Oh,
Yes.
well,
Yeah,
he is
100%,
the White
100%.
Castle.
Yeah.
Okay, A and W is good, but there's not that many of them. I feel like you'll find a Hardee's or a Carl's everywhere.
It's also different depending on where in the.
Oh yeah, look at this A&W bear. Yeah, it's A&W. The answer
Yeah.
is A&W.
Yeah.
Sorry, I
put it in the Discord chat.
totally missed this comment from Artist of the Week, Mike Patton. He said, in reference to Kuma, he said he probably liberated the White Castle.
I was gonna say,
He
beige.
goes up to the manager and he's just like, "You have to free these
They're
people."
just grilling all those onions there, and he just creates a
Harold
giant
and Kumar have been sitting here for years.
Harold and Kuma.
There it is. It's too late to change
man.
the image
Harold
to
and
a
I know,
Kumar
we'll
for the
save
White
that one for a
Castle.
future episode. That sounds like a good one.
Apparently, Domino's also had a bear mascot.
Quick, is Cal Penn a One Piece fan?
That's what I was saying.
Dennis the Noid. He steals pizzas.
But this is pre-Noid. Pre-Noid.
Can we please go to whatever the next thing is?
No, I love talking about food. Everyone knows this.
Yeah, I know.
Well, I was gonna say Beige probably has a White Castle inside of him, like a White Castle Express. But he goes to Maggiano's.
He smells like onions.
Yeah.
You know?
Absolutely.
No,
That's
actually,
racist.
there's just like a food court, a full
Bukkity
food court of
Beppo.
like all of the like miniature versions. Yeah.
Yeah, why does it
How is it
Capone sound like
racist?
a stereotypical Italian guy?
Buca de Beige.
Wait, it's like when did onions become the mascot food of Italians?
Steve, you're
What's going
Italian,
on?
right? You could probably.
I think I found
solve
a new
this.
title for the episode.
Capone Beige isn't even Italian. Italy doesn't even exist in the world.
Oh, it will. No.
All right.
Is that a threat?
I know, or a
It
problem.
is a
It's a
threat.
threat,
It is a
alright.
threat.
There's gonna be so many letters to Oda. Hey man, why isn't Italy in this comic?
Where are they gonna get the best pizza?
All right. Hopkins hat starts off by saying their catchphrase, "Hey OPP, how it be?"
I like
So
how you know everyone's catchphrase.
I read this piece every week.
Like yeah.
Except for when I don't. So Kuma went to all the places he sent the Straw Hats to find a cure for his daughter. That's a really cool callback, but why do you think he went to Mihawk's castle? Mihawk is known for being the best swordsman, not a doctor. Was somebody living in the castle before Mihawk?
Yeah, I
He could have
think-
belonged
Sorry,
to
go ahead.
Dr. Hogback before he teamed up with Moria. The aesthetic definitely fits.
Yeah.
Didn't he
not
just
bad.
kind
He's
of?
gonna slice
He's
off
squatting.
the
I was gonna
jewels.
say I thought Mihawk was just squatting there. Like he doesn't. I don't think he has like a home.
Well,
He
the
does not have-
mandrills.
4 other warlords are squatting there.
The mandrills are keeping the people out. They're keeping the property values down.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah. I
Yeah,
think
Mihawk just wants solitude and will do whatever he can do.
He will
wanted to
deal
go to-
with the apes.
he just wanted to live in Baboon County, USA. That's it.
Yeah. This is a man who.
Baboons to the left, baboons to the right.
I imagine he's like a oh god, what's the part 4 JoJo's villain? Like he just wants to live a quiet life.
Dio.
is
It's Dio. It's always Dio.
No,
No,
Kira.
not Dio.
It's
Kira.
Kira.
Yeah, thank you.
Kira Nerys?
Yeah. Can you believe
wow.
it? It's the Mirror World version, though.
Oh,
so
oh,
that
hot,
explains
hot, horny Kira. Horny insurgent Kira. Yeah.
it. More DS9 references just for no one here. What's next, Alex?
Well, this is our last one. Sheepman says, "Howdy, OPP." All right, what the heck? Can Oda make the age fruit look... Okay, what the heck can Oda make the age fruit look like? Is a fruit shaped like a calendar? May it be a fruit that also has lost its name over time, like Luffy's devil fruit? Well,
It just
the
has
fruit-
the number tattoos around its head like Calendar Man.
calendar.
The fruit shaped like an hourglass. There you go.
That's actually probably it.
It's probably an hourglass.
Has that
like
one
my
been...
idea better.
Again, I think I like the idea of part of it like rotting and part of it being like ripe and not ripe.
mean,
Like in the center
isn't
of
that
the
Toki's
hourglass
fruit,
being
though?
ripe, but then the rest, yeah. Oh, is it?
Is Toki's fruit
Did
shaped
we
like a
see
DeLorean?
that one?
A DeLorean. All right.
Stephen, was Bonnie's one in the magazine? I know there's a lot of really random ones in there.
No. In fact, the HH for this was the first time it was mentioned in the manga, and we'll see when we go through the volume 107. But Oda literally says what it is in the SBS, and is like, I should probably put that in the manga. So it was very much on his mind. But that's
we'll
that's
talk
all we
about
know.
that in probably a few weeks. The Amazon ruined Steven's order. Of volume 107. That's why the delay.
Jeff Bezos, the real villain of One Piece.
The real King Bakori of One Piece.
King Bezos.
Yeah.
King Bezos. Yeah.
That's it for this piece.
Bezos.
This piece of this piece.
I think that's all we had this week,
Come
right?
on and find out. Yeah, I guess so. We didn't have any emails or.
I didn't see any emails. There's no Reddit thread. There's nothing on Twitter, right, Ed?
They all heard I was coming.
So that'll do it. Since we have a little extra time, I guess I'm going to do some trivia with everyone, but right after these messages.
We'll be right back.
This has been the One Piece Podcast, episode 797 for November 27th, 2023. Thanks, everyone, for coming on the show. This was a fun one. We're going to be talking about Chapter 1100 next week. Everyone's talking about how milestone a chapter is, but he's already done at least 11 of these milestones. Is it really a big deal anymore? Yes, it is. Next week, we are going to have the great Ben Jowono on. You might know him as Ein. And the following week, the biennial, that's once every 2 years, right? The biennial appearance of Minovsky article, a.k.a. Casey, I reversed that, is going to be on for he comes for the 99 episode number for like the last 300 or 400 episodes we've done. So get ready for those. And then we have our 800th episode coming up. So that's our milestone episode. And hopefully we'll have more information about that soon. We're going to do a little bit of trivia later, but first, where can people find you all? Dennis, where can people find you?
My social media is at Ichnob, ICHNOB. I'll also be hosting the Vintage Anime Club podcast, where we're covering old school anime while drinking a bottle of wine. Coming up, we are doing Tokyo Godfathers in time for the holidays. And you can also physically see me at conventions. If you're going to LA Comic-Con, I'll be there. Emily Rudd's going to be there, so I'll be bringing out my Usopp cosplay for that one.
Not your Nami cosplay?
No, not my Nami cosplay, unfortunately. I don't have one, or at least one that fits. Anime Los Angeles in January. We'll be there hosting a couple panels and wearing cosplay and stuff too. So come check me out there.
Thanks, Dennis. So now you would have... Oh, no. Never mind. You've met Mayumi Tanaka, I know. I thought, but you haven't met the voice actress for...
I have.
Japanese.
Not in Japanese, no.
Oh, okay.
I thought you were going to say met Colleen Klinkenbeard. Like, I have met her.
What I thought you were going to say was, so you've met Mayumi Tanaka, but have you met who voiced Satanist number 4?
That's me.
This was before he got his big break.
I don't know what number Satanist I did. Anyway, Sean, where could people find you?
I deleted Twitter, so don't look for me there. I'm on Blue Sky at Sean Ate Your Son. I am also writing and producing a web series called No XP. We just got a Kickstarter funded, so look out for episodes of that from Jellybox Studio. It's created by Gene Goldstein. It's a really cool series based on like RPGs, JRPGs. Like it's like the crew after they've completed their adventure, and then they just have to kind of deal with being stuck in everyday life. So we've got new episodes of that coming out soon. You can find my work on my website, SeanAitchison.com. and it's mostly on Crunchyroll, sometimes Kotaku, sometimes Anime News Network. Check out or keep your eyes out for an article I have coming soon to Anime News Network investigating why Japan loves Columbo. And I think that's about it.
Stephen.
Yep. Follow me on Blue Sky at stephenpaul.bsky.social, I think. I'll remember that one of these days. Yeah, that's pretty much it. And also read, in addition to One Piece, always keep up on Akane Banashi. And this week there will be a new chapter of my monthly series, Shoha Shoten, which is kicking ass these days. So definitely read them on the Viz, Shonen Jump, Manga Plus, wherever. So it's all in the same lineup.
Whenever I see B-Sky, I always think of Brodsky, and
yeah,
probably the only one. Alex, where can people find you?
I'm on Twitter at @dude!! I'm also there on Blue Sky. Also follow Weeb Simpsons on Twitter, and you can follow it on Blue Sky now. I'm slowly putting the backlog up there.
It's been fun. It's like extra. It's like, oh, I forgot about these from like 4 years ago.
Yeah, me too. I was like, oh wow. At some point, I think I might maybe I think there's typos on a few of them. I might correct them. Maybe I won't. Maybe I'll just be an asshole and just be like, "You're not getting them.
Thank you.
You're not getting corrections, baby."
Thank you, Alex. Steve, where can people find you?
You can go to steveyurko.com, social media at steveyurko. Listen, of course, on 4Kids Flashback, our new podcast from Maji Media. Those episodes drop Wednesdays, both our week early ones on Patreon and our free ones on wherever you get your podcasts. And also check out Prosy D Plays Games, where I'm the co-host of that Let's Play channel over on YouTube. And yeah, that's it.
Steve, you were on 2 other podcasts this week.
Oh yeah, I should mention those. Yeah, I was a guest on Friends of the Show, Talking Simpsons. I was on an episode talking about season 4's New Kid on the Block. Please check them out. That's great, especially if you like all the Simpsons reference with us and you don't know what Talking Simpsons is, you should really go check out their show for sure. And also, I was on Imaginary Worlds talking about One Piece. And with some other guests on there, not recorded at the same time. It was separate interviews, all edited into one. But Shannon is on there as well. Daniel Dockery is there as well. 2 familiar faces. I forget who the other guest was off the top of my head, but please check them out as well. It's if you want a shorter podcast than what you're used to over here, that one's like an easy 40 minutes.
I need long podcasts personally.
I do too. I need to get through the day.
Yeah. Ed, where could the good people find us?
Well, we are at the new and improved OnePiecePodcast.com. Let's see. OnePiecePodcast@gmail.com is our email address. OnePiecePodcast.bsky. How is that?
It's just OnePiecePodcast.com on Blue Sky.
On Blue Sky.
For me, it's Zach.OnePiecePodcast.com.
There you go. I'm Edward E. on B-Sky. Podcast, again, please support us, patreon.com/OnePiecePodcast. Let's see. You can subscribe on SoundCloud, Spotify, subscribe, rate, and review on Apple Podcasts, or call us on our phone number, Zach.
And the phone number is 347-497-MAJI. That phone number again, 347-497-6254. For call anytime. Thank you. With your questions, comments, theories, or where Harold and Kuma are going next. I hope it's not Guantanamo. That was a movie. That was a movie.
They're headed to Echo Island next, actually.
Before we get into trivia, I do want to thank for doing our art this week, the great Mike Patton. You should definitely check the alternate images and titles out for this week on our Patreon. It's just $5 a month, and we, for a limited time, are giving away a 7-day free trial, so you could check out what's going on there. I also want to give a huge shout-out, I should be doing this every week, to our editor, Delaney Jordan. Big thanks to editing our show and our ridiculousness. So, I haven't done this in a while. I wasn't really expecting trivia, so when I don't expect trivia, we do random number trivia. So for this, I'm going to be using a random number generator to pick a chapter between 1 and 1099, and I'm going to ask you 5 questions about it. They'll be similar in format. For those who've been around a really long time, you remember how this works. The one who gets the most points wins. That's it. So I'm going to go in the same order I did for the manga recap. So Sean, you're first. Let's find out what chapter you're doing. You're doing 206. I'm going to ask you 5 questions about chapter 206. I'm opening this up for a first time right now, so let's see what I got. What is the arc in that this chapter takes place in? The story arc.
If it's not Alabasta, it's Skypiea.
You have to choose one.
Skypiea?
No, it was Alabasta. The cover. Which cover story is taking place in this chapter?
Oh God, I have no. I don't even have a guess.
You could guess. You don't know any cover stories from.
They don't stick in my brain. I don't know. One of the ones with Kobe.
No, it's the one with Hachi and Kami and Papag are also in that one. Yes, in chapter 206 they appeared. Maybe we should all be reading the cover stories. This is I think probably one of the bigger chapters of Alabasta. It involves it's right in the middle of which fight?
Luffy with Crocodile?
Yeah, that was an easy one I'm giving you.
Okay. I'll take an easy question. Thank you.
It could have been any of the Straw Hats. They have pretty big fights in that one, so.
Yeah. How many seconds do they have left to defuse the bomb?
Oh boy. 20?
7. I should have said
7.
at the end. Let me see if it's what it starts out at. 15. I think it's 15. So either way, no. Which 2 Baroque Works agents play? I think this is the last question. Play a major role in this chapter.
I think 3. Mr. 3. Sorry. And is it Nico Robin too?
No, those are both wrong. Mr. 7 and Ms. Father's Day.
A weird sniper frog Pete.
Yeah. That was 5.
I was
that
thinking
5
it was
questions?
the one where he made
Yes.
They're not
where
weird,
he
they're perfectly
saved them
normal.
with the key or whatever. Yeah.
They're weirdos.
No, they're extremely normal. I think that was 5 questions, right? I lost count.
5 humiliating questions.
Okay. Dennis, you are next. And your chapter is 520. What arc does this take place in?
Is it Thriller Bark?
No. Amazon Lily.
All right.
This features a color spread. I'm going to do a color spread question for this. It is the Straw Hats playing cards, and Luffy is upset because he got a card with whose face on it? It is a Straw Hat. That's the hint.
Frankie's face.
Brooke's face.
Ah.
Or if he had a face.
True.
Thank you, everybody. Thanks. This chapter features a fight between Luffy and whom?
Sander Sonia?
Correct.
Oh, damn.
There it is. That was a hard question that you got, even with the easier
Take
ones.
it. Gotta dial it in, shoot. That's how I do archery. Shoot broad and then start. I can tone it in after a while.
Question 4 or 5. This chapter ends with with Hancock doing this, or doing this.
I think she's crying.
Yeah.
Right.
The hard questions you got here. Last one. I gotta find a good one, right?
I got more than I thought I'd get, so I'm
No,
already
you're
happy.
you're doing pretty good. It's a fight chapter, so there's also just not a ton going on. How does Luffy ultimately incapacitate the Gorgon sisters?
He's covering the back on one of them because their shirt
That's
burned or something.
that's right, but how does he make it? How does he end the fight portion of it at least?
He ties their tails together.
That's the answer I was looking for. That's hard to word. Okay, 3 points for Dennis. Not bad at all. Steven, you are next. Your number is 1039. 1039. What arc are we in?
That was still Wano, I believe.
That is 100% Wano. Sorry. This color spread was oft used as a predictor for something, even though it had absolutely nothing to do with anything. Okay. It involves you can name the animal that it involves the color spread or the scene. I will say it in the foreground is Luffy and Chopper looking happy.
Oh man, I know. God, this is not ringing a bell, and I know I'm going to feel
it's
stupid
not,
when I hear what it is.
I have to ask harder questions since this was slightly more recent.
Yeah, this is pretty recent. Damn it, I don't remember what spread this is.
So this is the yellow goop, I think, color spread with the monkeys with crowns, and everyone thought the goop was related to Gear 5. I don't know if people remember that.
I don't remember that. Wow.
That was, I think, a fan theory I have seen.
Okay.
Not a good one, but...
Yeah.
Not a good one. Not a good one.
I did say it was a bad one. I'm pretty sure. This chapter... This chapter was animated by Henry Thurlow, a friend of the show, I will say. Which of the many episodes that Henry worked on, what was the plot in this one? What was going on?
Was this Luffy versus was this the Ryokugu chapter?
No. This was Law and Kid versus Big Mom. It was the one
Big
he
Mom.
did.
Okay,
it was like his big episode. Given
That's
that
right. It hasn't been that long.
No.
I'm remembering the I'm like calculating, okay, 50 chapters a year. Nope, that's not how it goes anymore.
With that in mind, so that was 3 questions, right? What was the podcast episode name for this chapter?
Oh, okay. Kid-in-law versus Big Mom.
I wouldn't ask this to most of the other guests.
Yeah. Man. Did I come up with this one?
I don't know, but Alex drew the image. That will be our hint.
Alex drew the image. The junkyard gun.
Correct.
Kids junkyard gun. Yes.
Kids junkyard. I'll give it to you. with R2D2. Or the protocol droid or whatever.
That was a fun. Yeah,
that was a fun one. This was a very memorable chapter. Can you name? Was this 5?
Yeah, last question.
Can you name the attack? Either the big attack that Law uses or Kid uses to impact on Big Mom here.
Yeah.
This is not the end of the fight, but this is the big ones of these chapters.
Yeah, where they team up. Shit.
I'll let you do either.
Yeah.
Bonus for both.
Yeah, so that wasn't it was not the Punk Cornadillo, because that was a different part of the fight.
That's the bull one, right?
Yeah, that was the bull one. Oh, damn it. No, I'm not remembering. Nope, can't do it. Can't
All
remember.
right, I'll give one hint. I won't count it though if you get it. One was a Simpsons reference.
What was the
Wait, so
Simpsons reference?
for Law, Puncture Willie was the joke we
Oh,
made.
Puncture Ville, yeah.
Puncture Willie.
Puncture Willie, yeah.
Good advice.
And that was it. And Damned Punk.
Damned
was
Punk, okay.
this kid. So Dennis is in the lead. Steve, you're next. Random number, generate 619. Before I find out the answer,
Booyaka, booyaka.
what arc are we in?
That's Fishman Island.
Correct. What story arc are we in? I'm sorry.
Fishman
No,
Island.
no, shut up. What cover page are we? Or cover story are we doing?
Well, that's Around the World.
Yeah, I'll give it Decks of the World
edition. Decks of the World. Yeah.
There was another. There were several of them. There were like 3 of them.
There was a couple. Oda's done it a couple times. So. That was the first edition, of course.
Oh my god, this brings back memories. This chapter ends with the lead-in to which portion of the Fishman Island arc?
Probably the flashback.
Correct.
Yeah.
2 more questions. You're 3 for 3. Is Steve going to win another round of trivia? This chapter features Jinbei's Eneru face. Not the full page, but it is Jinbei's Eneru face. What is he so shocked to see?
Shirahoshi.
Correct. Oh my god. What can I do that's actually difficult? I feel like I wouldn't remember a single thing that happened in this chapter, I will say. What is the name of King Neptune's attack
Oh.
that he uses here against Hody Jones?
I don't know.
Yay, I thought of a herd one.
We stumped Steve somehow.
What would be his name in conventions? Let's see. I don't know. It'd be, what's his weapon? He has a trident. It'd be, I don't know.
Do you give up? Or do you want to throw a guess out there?
It'd be, I don't know.
The answer is ultramarine is the answer. Easy answer there, Steve. Everyone knew that.
Yeah.
Steve has 4 points and is in the lead.
Read the manga, I guess.
Yeah, really, Steve.
No, you're going to get me to read Fishman Island again.
Alex, you're next. You have chapter 914. What story arc is this?
914, that would be Wano.
It always is. What cover story are we in? Bonus point if you guess specifically which part of the cover story we're in.
Where are my bonus points?
Okay, let's see.
Steve, really? You're winning and you're complaining about the bonus points.
Which cover story is this? God. I think it's still too early for Oh My Family. No, wait. Yeah, let's do Oh My Family.
No, you were right the first time. It's too early for Oh My Family.
Damn it.
It's the Saga of the Grand Fleet. This was specifically the beginning of the one with... This is the Bellamy one. No, I wish Orlumbus. This is the very end of it. The Orlumbus one was right before.
I thought about Orlumbus for a moment, and I'm like, is it On My Family? Shit.
I'm still rereading. I'm in the middle of like this part of Wano, so it's fresh on the brain. But okay, let's do some chapters. This chapter has a very famous quote from Zoro that we even named an episode after. What's the quote?
Well, you're a large woman, or I'm paraphrasing.
Yeah, that's. I'll give it to
quite a
you.
woman.
You're a
Yeah.
sizable
There's different
woman.
versions.
I think was the
Sizable woman is the
Funimation.
dub.
And
Sizable woman is
dang,
what you
you're
mean.
huge is Steven's version.
Yeah, dang, you're huge. Yeah, I remember the episode title. So
Yeah. It wasn't for this chapter. What? Oh, I know the episode title for this chapter. Which character is the episode title referring to in this chapter?
Oh, it's what's his nuts?
If you could say the name of the episode too.
Hold'em. His name's Hold'em.
No,
No.
it's the other weirdo. Did everyone forget about?
Batman.
No. I know who it is.
No, it's Batman. He was right.
Batman.
It's Batman.
Yeah.
Wait,
Did we
it
call it
Jump Ball?
the Dork Knight? That was
No.
the Dork Knight,
I'm
right?
just. Well, I wasn't trying to.
You're
get
just
it.
showing off. Yeah.
Yeah, I am.
Piece of shit.
Hey, Carl, look, I'm Batman.
Was that the Dork Knight? Was that the name of it? That episode?
I don't think we called it the Dork Knight.
No,
did we?
I think we did.
Really? Ew.
Yeah, well, I can't really help what we did 4 years ago. That was question 4, I believe.
What?
3? Was that 3? I can't count. Okay, 2 more then.
No, that was the third question.
Right,
Yeah.
that's why I was asking because I wasn't sure.
1, 2, 5.
I'm learning my counting from Noah. This chapter, what else happens here that's interesting? Oh, the name of this chapter is also where this chapter takes place. What is the name of that place?
It's Okabore Town.
Correct. That was 4. One more question. This chapter also features this member of the Animal Kingdom pirates, besides Batman.
Besides Batman. Okay, I have 2 on the brain.
I'm not going to
And
react.
And I'm trying to. Is it Speed?
That's your guess?
Wait, Batman. So, hold on.
No,
I'm trying
you got to give me an answer.
Fuck. Okay, if it's not Speed, I know who it is.
I didn't
No,
say
you know
it
what?
wasn't Speed. I just said, is
It's
that your final
Gazelle
answer?
Man.
That's
It's
correct.
Gazelle Man.
That's
It's Gazelle
correct. I didn't say it wasn't Speed. I just said, is that your answer? Okay, Alex and Steve are tied. Can Ed break the tie?
Probably not. Let's find out.
816 is your
How boring,
chapter. What arc is this in?
816. Whole Cake Island?
No.
No?
Zoe.
Ah.
Zoe. Which cover story are we in?
Let's see. If you're still in Zoe, then it would be someone from before that. Is it Jinbei?
No, Decks of the World 500 Million Man arc. So that's the second Decks of the World. There were 3, and we covered all of them. Next question. This chapter ends with this huge revelation.
Let's see. The red poneglyph and that Raizo was alive, or he was there.
You're gonna have to choose 2 because those are 2 completely. 1, I'm sorry, because those are 2 completely different. endings.
That Raizo was alive.
Yes, that's correct.
Yeah.
That was 3. So this is 4. God, I'm looking at this panel of Kinemon. It looks like he's decapitated. Which he was. That was Punk Hazard,
Only
exactly.
Yeah,
Punk Hazard.
Yeah.
It's loose still.
but he got better.
He did. This chapter features the sad death of... Oh, what the hell was that character's name, though? Sorry, 1 second. It features... The very first panels feature the end of which character? Oh, there it is. This is hard.
Sheepshead?
No.
No.
Ryunosuke.
Close.
Oh.
The
Oh
other
no!
one.
Oh, the tiger.
Torasubura. Torasubura.
Oh, yeah.
Torasaburo. Okay.
Torasabura. I can't pronounce things. And finally, last question. What is the name of the city on Zo where everyone gathers and where we find out that Raizo is still alive and well?
Oh, fuck. I just watched this not that long ago. I don't know. I don't remember the name of the city.
The answer's Karao City.
Sure.
So we're going to need a tiebreaker. The final score, by the way, Steve and Alex have 4, Dennis has 3, Steven has 2, and Sean and Ed have 1. Let us do a tiebreaker. You ready, Alex and Steve? We're going to break this tie.
Sure. Let's break it.
It's going to be for $6.95. So I can't ask the obvious question of what arc this is. So I'll specifically ask, how could I make this more? Steve, I'll give you your first. This chapter features a fight between General Frankie and which character?
Come on.
$6.95.
Which I literally can't remember the name of. So I'm going to try and look up. Yeah. Yeah.
General Frankie. One character?
He fights.
Because isn't it Buffalo and Baby 5?
That's the answer. I'll give it to you. I was going to say, yeah, it's both. You're right. It looks like the majority of it is with Buffalo here, but yeah, Baby 5 gets some hits in. Alex.
Buffalo mozzarella. What's up?
Oh, I'd love some of that. Why would you do that to me? This chapter also features, this arc also features these two Straw Hats, taking out, Buffalo. And I think in Baby 5, yeah, taking both of them out. Which two Straw Hats?
That would be Usopp and Nami.
Correct. Oh, we gotta get harder here. Steve, what is the name of the attack Nami uses to take out?
Fuck you.
No, Alex also has to get the next one if you get it wrong, so don't worry.
Oh, I mean, I know the one that.
What is the attack Nami uses?
Can we trade? Can Alex answer mine?
Yeah, can we trade?
No.
No.
What's the attack that Nami uses against Buffalo and Baby 5?
Well, it's some sort of thunderbolt tempo.
It always is. That's easy.
They all
That's
are.
easy. They all are.
They all are.
What's the name of those stupid things?
Steve, with you and me, our powers combined would be unstoppable.
Why can't? Why don't the both of us just walk away?
What is this? European football?
The two of us can just.
I'm the sports guy here. I get to decide.
We don't have to listen to Zach. We could walk away. True. We're both winners.
Yeah. We know in our heart of hearts that the two of us together, when we do the Fugage dance, would become.
So you don't know the answer to this?
Aleve, which cures headaches.
Yes. No, I don't know. It's what is it? Weather ball, thunderbolt, tempo. I don't know.
I know what it is.
Alex, what is it?
It's weather egg.
Weather egg.
Weather egg, thunder breed tempo.
Wait, Alex didn't say the full thing.
He didn't.
Oh, come on.
How strict am I being here?
Oh, honestly.
We're going to be here all night, fellas.
Yeah, I know. That's why I was like...
I'm going to give it to Alex.
Yay.
Well, what was going to be his? Because I want to see if I can answer.
Oh, okay.
I know it.
His was going to be Usopp's attack. What's Usopp's final attack here?
It's Black Kabuto, Junk Mouth attack.
No, completely not right. Special attack Meteor Swarm Assault was the name of it.
Okay. It's when he puts junk in the piranha plant's mouth and barfs it out at Buffalo and Baby 5.
Then he also throws shackles. Or what do you call
it?
In the Caesar's neck.
Barks and shoots bees at you.
Bees at you. I like Junk Mouth better. The junkyard mouth.
Who shows up at the end of this chapter?
Which Fat Albert friend?
I'll
was
ask that. Alex, Steve, do you know
who shows up at the end of this chapter? It's Doflamingo.
No. Steve, do you know the answer to that?
What was the question? I didn't
Who
know.
shows up at the end of the chapter? This is a bonus. Or if anyone
Who shows
knows.
up at the end of the chapter?
Yeah.
Shows up.
And it's
Who
not
appears?
Doflamingo.
Who appears
Who
at the end of the chapter?
Who appears? Oh, it's Kuzan.
Yes.
Okay, that's different.
Anyway, that'll do it. European
up.
football rules, tie, whatever. We'll see you next week. for
Everyone's a
chapter-
winner.
See you-
Hooray!
Except
Please
for
stop
everyone
fighting. You're
besides
both
Steve and
Luffy's
Alex.
friend.
Aw.
We'll see you next week for chapter 1100. Thanks to everyone for listening to that. My name is Zach.
My name is Ed.
My name is Steve.
And my name is Alex, and together, me and Steve, aka Leave, are the winners of trivia forever and all time.
Did you say leave?
Ali.
Or
Leave.
I'll leave? Like the ass?
Alex
No,
and
like,
Steve.
no, like I leave.
It's their fusion name.
Ali? Oh, Ali.
I leave. Oh, I leave.
What would you guys look as a fusion? Now I'm just wondering.
I'm gonna
Amazing
leave.
bit.
That'll do it. We'll see you next week, everyone. Goodbye, Stephen.